It is another episode of Around the Mage Table. This is episode 48. We are coming up on the half century, and I think that'll be a big deal for us. Can you guys believe we've almost done 50 episodes?
Yeah.
I feel like we've done more.
I think we've been doing this now for almost 18 months. Not all of us, of course, but a lot of us have. So that is awesome.
I think China has, because he was at the beginning and then missed
I
the
cut
middle.
out the middle. I
Yeah.
cut out some of the middle. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome, and it's also, I'm joined by awesome people, including Lithian. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm, ready to get this done.
I feel
on a Sunday night.
Yeah. I'll go in and answer my how am I doing in case you guys don't ask it like you never do. But I am hungover. I'm exhausted.
Hey, how are you doing, buddy?
I am sleepy. I had my 20th high school reunion last night, and nothing.
I can't hang.
He's that guy.
He's that guy.
I got there early to help set up, and I realized there wasn't any setting up to be done, and
You're
it was
double that guy, dude.
Dude, he's 2 times that guy.
It was an open bar, so we were drinking
Nice.
from like 5 p.m. and then like around 9, the tequila shots started coming out. So, anyways,
Tequila.
Lithian
Can
knows
you
what I'm
reconnect with
talking about.
anybody?
What?
Yeah, or
You-
not. The
No,
comments, like,
there's so many tea. There's so much tea I could spill. I mean, none of you guys would know anyone, but yes, there was a lot of eyebrow raising moments that was occurring last night. So I just sat back and tried to stay out of trouble.
I was just shocked that like people actually go to those things, because I was saying
Well,
that would be my worst fucking nightmare in my whole life.
I didn't
but Frank
wanna
is the
go.
kind of guy who goes to
Well,
those.
my one of my best friends from high school, he's the class president. So I was like, all right, well, I'll get to see him, and a couple of other friends were like, yeah, we'll go. I didn't want to go though, and then they started kind of peer pressuring me, saying like, no, you better show up or else. And
Just like
we had
peer pressure you.
well,
to
we
stay
had a
up all night.
we had a class size, a graduation class of like 850 students, and we thought, and I say we, I didn't do any of it, but my friend who's the class president thought there'd be about 100 people that would show up. It was about 60 really, but it was a good group of people, so it was better than I thought it was going to be. But again, paying for it today. Anyway, Scrap Claw, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
What?
I did the yard work today.
What?
I don't think what I'm being called on right now.
And I ask you, how you doing?
Pretty good. We killed Mythic Sprocket Monger last week, and we got One Armed Bandit down to 8% last week, and so hopefully we kill it this week, and then can go on to Mugsy.
Well, that
And
is a
Mythic.
great transition into our first topic. I can't pull a page to discuss it, so we'll just discuss it as a group right here. But our first topic is Turbocharge. How is it going for everyone? We are effectively at the end of the week. I ask you, I guess since you've already kind of talked about what's going on, how's it going for you? How are you liking Turbocharge?
I'm a little exhausted. I ran a lot of more keys than I would have normally, just to get the extra crests, and so that I was getting a little burnt out at the end there. But it is cool getting the extra eye level and going into keys that maybe were a little tougher and kind of smashing them now. And I'm looking forward to maybe to see how much further we can kind of push, seeing what we have now in terms of the item level, and then obviously got the dinars, which are pretty cool. So
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now, and I'll share it here in a second. But how many keys by like the 12? So here, I'll pull it up. Let me go and share it.
oh, I know the answer to this.
Right.
Oh,
So
I don't even know what the question is.
So
Or
this
I
is this is all season, so I'm gonna switch it here in a second. But if you were to guess
This-
what the most popular key number would be, Scrap, what would it be?
For this week,
Yeah.
12.
It's 12.
Yeah.
Is
It's
it?
definitely tough.
Is there already
It
was
is,
6 there?
By a
Jordan had a
country
graph.
mile, right?
Wow. I mean, we
Yeah.
did a 12 or 2. I can't remember. I haven't played a lot this week, but we did a couple 12s, and it was just like I could do it completely asleep. Like
Well,
we just demolished
but do
them.
you? So okay, let's frame that part of the question first. Do you think then that just the little bit of IO, because not everyone has maxed out their gear that quickly, right? Some have, of course, but
Yeah.
you haven't played that much, arguably.
Yeah, no, but I already had enough crests and shit. I just don't have the valor suits.
Scrap things for gear was maxed out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've been really
so-
unlucky. I've gotten not a lot of mythic pieces of gear, so I've only have like 4
Yeah, but
pieces
even
of
then you could
mythic
upgrade
gear.
the hero stuff too.
Yeah, but you don't upgrade as far, so I've had a lot of crests I haven't used,
But
I've
you
already
think-
like
You
I'm
think
just saying,
though,
Io
that
says
little
he's
bit
like-
has enough to push you into making 12 super easy?
yes.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
also
I mean,
everybody else's has
think-
it too, so not just me.
I think everyone's pushing for the resilient 12 so they can get mythic items off the dinars,
mhm.
That makes sense.
and double that with 12s give you probably the
best,
most,
yeah.
the most crests.
Yeah, even if you don't time it, you get a load of crests off of them.
The most crests with, and it's easy to obtain. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I did a couple 12s for some folks.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't pushed too much.
The thing is that like, here, let's look at last week. So what were the total keys? We'll just use these two numbers. So 240,000 and 340,000. So let's just call it under 700,000. 700? Yeah, just under 700,000. And we'll look at last week.
I think there's like 100,000.
So
calls around last week or something.
tens were roughly the same, right? But we've effectively almost quadrupled this number.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, there's no benefit to doing 12s before.
well, the crest
yeah.
was still there, right?
And the resilient.
Yeah,
the first
but
resilient.
Yeah.
When they learned they can get mythic items from dinars and they uncap crests, that's what changed it.
Yep.
The thing is that I'm wondering how much did this draw people back like with subs? So did people resub to come back for this, or do you think it's just like, okay, now I'll go crazy? What do you think?
I think it's a community just pushing up.
Yeah, I think it's just people that were already playing, just getting more eye level. Maybe some people will do it to keep up, but other than that, I think it's mostly just people that were already playing.
Well, I think a big part of it is like the motivation. Like you stop at your 10s a lot because it's like, oh, you got all your portals, right? If you get 12s and 13s, you hit 3K, so like you can get the new mount. But I mean, if you're kind of like having a hard time in 12s, it's like you're like, well, I don't want to do a bunch of 13s for some different color of a mount. But like now there's a huge motivating factor. You get to pick your favorite piece of gear, like of course people are going to slam these 12s.
Yeah. Everybody I saw was pushing 12s. There's a ton of 12s out there to do.
Yeah, I saw where a week ago I would have like seen groups that were forming for 12s. Almost everyone was like in the 2950 to 3050 kind of IO range. This week it's literally like a roulette wheel or a slot machine of just like all sorts of different numbers of some. I've seen some as low as like 2,500 that are queuing up for 12s now. It's been really wild pugging. I haven't had too much problems at the 12 level.
I have.
You're the tank. Why are you having trouble? You should have the easiest of the time.
I am not the issue. I don't have any issues. I just watch everybody else have issues.
Oh.
And sometimes, I don't know, man. There's some challenging pugs out there.
Well, and I've been trying. So I got my Resilient 13 this week, which was nice. And
Nice.
you helped, I think, to get that. So thank you.
I helped. What the hell? Why do you call IO
Yeah,
out?
I think we did a priory.
No, well, you did the Cinder Brew. That's right, Scrap. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
did
you asshole.
Wow.
No, but IO helped me because the Priory was the one I was like pushing hard on. And again, this was last week, but like 5 back-to-back runs where we were slamming and smashing. And then we'd get to like the last 3 or 4 pulls, and it would just like unravel.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
For me, for both the 12 and 13, it was Floodgate because it was impossible to pug.
I feel like anyways.
Dude, pugging Floodgate is hard because
but-
it all falls apart at the back end.
To your point, Scrap, of like how the 12s have just felt so easy to slam through. You can fall asleep. I still think there's and again, it's more probably a pugging issue because like when we did it together, that's when I started timing the keys. But it's still definitely a little more challenging at the 13s.
That Cinder Brew, we had like 6 or 7 deaths, and I was joking we were gonna +2 it. But
but we also had deaths that
We
were
were
at good
not that
spots
far.
where there were no runbacks. It was just like, oh, just
there was no wipe, yeah. Like, but the tank died twice, and some people died. Like, I'm just saying, like the sheer numbers that come off of that, like they're not that tight. That with our DPS, which like
it's definitely
was-
more free. Yes, I agree with that.
yeah,
To the
way
point
more
where we have
free.
people in our community who are getting Resilient 13s that I would have never said like, oh, okay, that I wouldn't have thought that to happen.
Our community is getting better. Like
Yeah, we'll talk
Nice to
about
know.
how well they played in Raid this week at the end of the episode. But
oh shit, I don't want to talk about that.
I can't. Well, yeah, I can't wait to talk about it
I
because
do.
you are the topic of conversation.
I played the worst of
But we'll
everybody.
get to that in a second.
Yep.
So other than that, though, I asked Ioski specifically. Now, Ioski, you've gotten your mythic trinket that you wanted, so congrats.
Yay.
Scrap and Lithium, what were the first trinkets you guys picked up?
Nothing.
You haven't picked yours up yet? Why?
I'm just holding my dinars. I don't have
Why are you
anything I
holding it?
need.
You're gonna get another one.
I don't have anything I need.
You have 2 mythic trinkets?
Tanking
I
a little
don't-
bit different,
Jaster
Scrap,
diamond?
because, well, the Jaster diamond.
I don't know what mythic trinket I would want to pick up yet. And so I'm just sitting on it until I figure it out.
Could
One
not
of my
gonna-
trinkets is
okay.
crafted, so
And that's your
What
best
about a
slot?
Jaster diamond?
yeah. What about what?
Jaster diamond.
The ring.
I have that on my feral druid.
Okay, but on your tank,
Blood DK.
your main.
Yeah, I don't have anything yet. I'm just sitting on it.
Why? I
But
don't
it-
understand what you're
don't-
saying. Okay,
don't,
I'm not
Scrap.
gonna. You're right. I'm not gonna get fussed up in it.
What? I'm just telling you, like the beauty
tell
of
me, but
the
it bothers
system
me.
is you don't have to pick it right away. It's not like it's just
You
gonna
don't.
rot away.
You're
I could
right.
pick 2.
You're right.
I could pick 2 in 3 weeks if I really want. So
That's why you're not.
Yes.
That's not why you're having trouble timing 12s, Lithium. Anyways,
That's probably why.
yeah, it is.
Scrap. What
100%.
did you get? Did you get a heroic
Okay, so
trinket or a mythic one?
controversial take. I already
Oh,
have 1
God.
mythic trinket, and I have a heroic trinket.
Yeah.
But I went for the Jaster diamond instead, the heroic one,
really good.
because I thought there's 2 more weeks of vault where I might get that trinket out of the vault. You know,
Mhm.
that was my thought. But I'm never gonna get a Jaster diamond out of the vault, right? Like,
Well, so yeah, my
What are they
my pickup this week was the Muggsy trinket on heroic version because
Mhm.
I'm obviously not going to say a mythic, but it's so good for mages that
Yeah.
it outperforms even at the heroic level by a good
I
bit.
have got to say, it is so nice not having my Biss come out of raid this season.
Well, I have every tank trinket out of raid, so like that's the
Right.
issue. Is I could either pick up a mythic tome or a mythic Seaphorium for DPS if I want extra tank damage. I don't know.
So, do you think this
I'll
is
figure it
a
out.
good system to keep going forward? Do you think they'll continue to have turbocharge going into season 3 and etc.?
I think it's good. I think the inclusion of Mythic Plus makes it better for me personally because that's what I spend most of my time. But no, I think it's a good system, even though I didn't pick up anything yet.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not gonna lie. I don't love the turbocharge halfway through the season because I feel like it's an arbitrary like slider. They just turn up, say like, you gotta play now because we turned the
Wait,
slider up.
You want it at the
You know?
beginning?
What? What do you mean?
You want it at the beginning of the season?
No, I don't
When
want
do
it
you
at
want
all.
it?
I don't
Oh,
want it
you
at
don't
all.
want it at all.
I
That
want it
is
Okay,
a
next
pretty
season.
controversial take.
that's a take. That's a take.
No, because I feel like
I get
they're
what you're
just
saying.
making us
Yeah.
play, but like okay, you already got the gear, but now get it a little bit better. And there's no like work put into it. They just put the sliders up.
No,
like,
okay, so
Well,
let's
have
play
the
the 2
mythic-
scenarios out, right? The first is I get what you're
Let's fucking
saying.
2
You
scenarios.
feel like you're being forced to come back, right? Because if you don't,
I mean, maybe
despite
just
the
the way
fact that you
I
retired
play.
16 times already.
Well, yeah, the way the way I play WoW is that at the beginning of the season, I'm really excited. I want to get the gear really fast. I want to push high really fast. I want to be first. I don't want to be the highest. I want to be the first to hit all these like
Oh my
sort of
God.
things.
Despite the fact that
Um,
whenever we make competitions, it's never the first.
What was last time? Check
No,
the tape.
no, you make it that. You just completely ignore
'cause
what
for
we're
me,
talking about.
I compete
He
on
makes
the metric.
rules.
I compete on the metric that I can win. I don't want to
Yeah.
play all season. Like
Shawnee
it's,
quit the podcast because of how bad your competitions were because he'd say, let's do this, and then you just changed the rules.
He needs
Yeah.
to learn how to be competitive correctly. Like,
If you create your own rules, you can never lose.
create your own rules. No, but it's also just like selfishly, like I want to push, I want to be the best, whatever. But at this point, I'm like, I don't care if other people get all the 13s. I already hit my thing. I'll probably get the 14s done and maybe get a couple 15s in, but like I'm really not motivated to do so. All that motivation was at the beginning of the season, and turning the slider up is not enough for me because I'm gonna have somebody come in like, oh, I also got the 13s and stuff. But in my head, I'm gonna like, yeah, but we know there's a difference between you and me, right? Like it doesn't need to
What?
be.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't need to be.
Wow.
It doesn't need to
No.
be stated, right?
No.
This is huge talking for me, who's like been
Yeah.
like struggling all season.
You're talking mad shit, man.
Yep. I can go to sleep at night because I know even though my spec is really struggle busting, I'm like, yeah, but
I agree
know
with
I'm
you.
still
I agree with you that you can say that thought in your head, and because you've never said that out loud to people. So
I say so much shit in my head. You guys
Yes,
have
I know.
no
I can
idea.
imagine. However, do you see a problem? This is not necessarily turbocharge related, but do you see a problem with the fact that there are people out there who are getting 13 resilience, or even higher, that really would never have been in those shoes before?
No, because it's always like sometimes they do seasons where it's like, oh, now you can time higher keys, like because of the balancing and shit. Like it doesn't bother me. Like I've timed 25 before.
No,
like,
I'm not saying
you've
that.
only timed
Well, that's
13, you dumbass.
I've timed 25.
I'm just saying the numbers can be
I'm
indefinitely
not saying
high,
because
right?
of the
Like so it
numbers
doesn't bother
part.
me.
I'm just saying because what happens is it like goes to their head. And you were talking pre-show about I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to call them out.
Don't say any names.
About a player who's maybe getting a little too big for their britches, right?
I was, yes.
And so like it's this thing where you're timing 12s, but it's not the same 12 that you remember.
I think this is a good life lesson for people is that like set your own metric and then exceed it, because if you're bothered by other people timing keys, like one, maybe they've gotten better and you're not giving them enough credit.
Pretty
like,
you were bothered by them timing keys.
I'm not bothered. I just want to talk shit.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Well,
also,
you're
I was
happy,
bothered by.
But I want to smash them
there
back
are
down.
other things beside, like there were other things like being carried, using certain add-ons that were factors in my bothering. What I'm saying is that like I'm never gonna be bothered by somebody saying like, oh, my score is higher than you, because like there's people who I respect who I'm like, oh yeah, duh, of course your score is higher than me. You're like way better than me. And then there's people who are like you, Frank, who are probably about the same, but I like to think of myself as better than you. and then there's people who I have a consideration that they're not as good as me, whether or not that's founded. But like what I'm saying is that my confidence and where I feel, I get to the point where I feel like I'm pushed and I'm stretched and I'm there and I'm good. Other people don't have an impact on me in that way. So I don't care if they're out here timing 15s.
I think, well, Scrap, you don't really play alts that much.
I don't play alts, yeah.
And I think at some point in the season, like getting capped on crests happens faster and faster to the point where the player base just diminishes away. And so incorporating a system like this helps people, gear up their alts and be able to max out their gear is not a bad thing, right? If you weren't retired and you were still trying to push for 3K, for instance, you'd probably be excited about this.
That was the other side of the coin I was going to talk about. Is the and let's not even worry about the idea that you need to push harder, right? Like that you're worried about a goal you missed. I love the idea that there's now that carrot on the end of the stick where it's like, okay, now I can continue to make myself even more powerful, right? Because as a DPS, you love to see the meters, even if you're not doing well. You're like, all right, but that's what I'm playing for, right? At least most people at this level.
It's DPS, yeah.
And so, just getting my one trinket, even though it's not even mythic, I was just like, okay, this is finally like that piece that was a huge jump for me is there. And it just gave me an excitement to play again. I like IO. I think you said you're kind of tired of all the things you've done this week. I've done a ton of 12s this week. And even then, I'm nowhere close to cap my gear because like I just need 30 per, times 13 slots or whatever. And
I'm almost 680.
Did you transfer all your? So this is a PSA to everybody that I learned about. All your littler crests, you can make it a big crest.
Yes.
So I had those. I had all those capped out too.
I've been already doing that all season though. So I had like so many already to begin with.
What are you doing? I think because I don't have a lot of mythic gear.
Yeah, but that still put me ahead when this launched. The thing is and here's a little fun tip for you, Scrap, because you said Valor Stone.
Okay, give me the tip.
Did you know you get bonus 50 Valor Stone in a dungeon if someone gets IO off the run?
You told me that earlier this week.
Yeah. So that's going to encourage you to bring that person that has not so great IO.
I like it. I think that's great for the community. I think this is fine for the community, but I would be interested to look in the numbers next week, because for me, I just need to pick up a couple more Valor Stones. Like I said, I'm only doing like 4 keys this week, so I have not been hitting it real hard. But even so, I'm going to cap out all my gear that I have on currently this week. And
not
next
your
week I got
items though.
My crafted items are already done.
Yeah, I've already done my
I only have
crafted.
2.
Oh, you only have 2?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Dude,
but they don't cost any more. They don't cost any more because it's 30 to upgrade those and it's 30 to get the 2 slots of your
Yeah.
myth tracker or hero tracker?
No, it's
Sure, it's something like
for
that.
me. It's 20, not 30.
That's
Why-
probably actually probably why you guys are behind people who have more than 2 crafted gears, because those cost you 60, you know. So
Yeah.
that's why I was ahead.
Yeah,
'cause
but
I
you
only have
weren't.
2
That
crafted.
wasn't the case when you started the week.
Huh? No, yeah, no, I've
He
had.
wasn't at
I've,
675 to start the week, were you, Lithium? You got to
Oh,
yeah,
675
I-
as
he
a
was,
result
yeah,
of this.
because he transferred all his stones from
As soon
his
as
vault.
I logged in, I hit 675 after I upgraded a few things.
I don't know how you guys have so much because
I have enough.
How do
I
you have
didn't
so
need
many
a single
crests?
gilded crest. I didn't need a single one. I
Lithium,
just
you
used the Valor
even
stones.
pulled it up. You've done like what 170 dungeons this season.
Oh, I did too many. I don't
But
want to talk about
on
it.
Frank, I've done 200 already, and how do I have less than you do?
Because you got
Sorry,
more mythic gear, so it takes more.
I don't
stuff.
know.
I downgraded a lot of like weathered and the crests that are above rune, and then got those down to rune. And then by the time I got done downgrading everything, I think I had about 200 something this week gilded from just doing that.
Yeah,
I had
I had
200
none of that.
to start the week. I came into the week with 200, and then I downgraded all those. I got another 200. I had like 400 in my bag ready to go.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that. I had nothing to start the week because I've been doing it all season already.
I wasn't doing it all season.
No,
I didn't
just
do
doing
any
it
of that.
Well, and
So-
don't get me wrong, maybe that was a problem because I would end up doing the keys anyways, but my thought process was if it's going to go back and downgrade them again anyways, I'm just refilling the bank at the same rate. So it's not going to make a big deal, but maybe that's what hurt me. I don't know.
Petition to investigate what happened, because I'm sure if we
Alright,
thought about
well,
it for more than
It's not
5
a big deal.
seconds,
It's not a big
if I
deal.
saw like a diagram of this, like what happened, I'd be like, oh, that's what happened. But in my head, it's just too nebulous. I can't.
And-
figure
and
out
We know how
what
much of a
I
data person
stole-
you are, Scrap.
exactly.
So the other thing I did was I took Valor Stones from some of the alts that I don't play anymore, and that also helped boost because that's
Yeah.
where the holdup is now is Valor
Yeah.
Stones.
I'm,
You know what
I'm
I
getting
started
to that
doing?
point.
So I didn't finish all those Sojourner quests, the Undermine quests, because Sojourner, is that how you say it? How do you say it?
Sojourner,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry.
like, yeah, I remember you that first week, Lithian. You got all the Sojourner quests and whatever, like one in the title or what. I don't even know what you get, like a trench coat or something. But I was like, I'm capped on crests. I'm gonna want to. Or I'm capped on Valor Stones. I'm gonna want to do this later. And now I've gone back and done that and got all the Valor Stones from that. And that's what's
I had the
up.
Valor Stone items too. I forgot about that. I used that too.
Yeah. But
You know, by the way,
Quick
because we're talking turbo boost real quick, if you do delves, I maxed out Braun. He's 80. If you do delves, you get super mega experience and you get 20 crests if you kill Underpin. FYI for
Every
anybody
week?
who doesn't know.
Well,
Every week you can do that?
Yeah.
So just so we talk about Delves, Delves will have their super turbocharge event coming up soon, which will have the new Cersei circlet type item, the belt, which will be a higher eye
Oh, that'd be
level.
cool. I'm
So
excited
that's
about
coming.
that.
That's coming. And I think it's 2 weeks from now. We have Horrific Vision starting next week, so that's coming soon.
Oh, is that still a thing?
Yeah, they're buffing them, so they're going to be more relevant. Io, I wanted to ask you this though. So you are what, 5 out of 8 Mythic now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 3 hardest bosses are coming up, but everyone this week probably jumped 5 eye levels at a minimum.
At least, yeah. I started at 671 and I ended at 681, but
Shit.
obviously everyone played different amounts. But yeah, I'd say at least 5 probably.
What do you think your odds of seeing the last 3 bosses go down easier or hard, or not harder, but do you think it'll be that much easier?
Yeah, I mean, One Arm Bandit I thought was gonna be a bit tougher, and honestly, we almost killed it in like one night of Prague. So I think we're to the point now where between the raid buff we get next week, from the Renown, and then just the 10 extra eye levels, which is 3 above the max of the raid. So I mean, we're talking about 15 more eye levels than Liquid killed it with in theory. So, when it was before they nerfed stuff. Yeah, I think we'll probably kill the stuff pretty quickly. It's stuff just you almost don't see out the whole fight sometimes because the stuff just melts.
Well, my understanding that fight,
Like,
the
you
One Arm Bandit
still
fight, is
gotta-
all about the ad management. If you can handle the ads, you can handle the rest.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, similar to Heroic, where you're trying to beat that really nasty ad phase at the end. And yeah, you just got to kill the right ones, and get the coins and dunk them.
So first off, are you gonna keep Mythic Raiding?
I don't know. So this is kind of where the turbo boost kind of lost me a bit. Is I feel like, Mythic. So I like to play to see my character progress, and I feel like now I'm already so much stronger than the raid itself that it's only inevitable we're going to beat it because we are a higher eye level than it. As long as we actually keep doing it.
And you still have
And
6% more damage and healing coming from the renown track.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like it almost feels kind of pointless because, yeah, I guess you can do it for the achievement and you can get the mount if you can get it on farm, but at the same time, it's like you get to a point where they have to design the raid to not really care about your eye level because you get so much gear from so many other different places. It's real easy to be like a max eye level by the time you get to the last boss. But at the same time, it's like what really drives you to keep going back in there? Is it just to say, oh, I killed, Gallywix on Cutting Edge? Like, I mean, I don't know. It'd be cool to have that gear incentive like you used to back in the day.
How do you guys handle the mount if it drops?
I have no idea. I'm guessing maybe just like a roll or something. I don't think there's like a priority system.
Okay, so you're not even sure if you will continue raiding in the future, or you're just saying this is kind of souring it a bit?
I'm gonna kind of think about it in the off season after we get a Cutting Edge or whatever.
It's a lot of work.
Well, I was gonna say, is that because it's more than just even that? It's like all the work that goes into it.
So I've actually found it hasn't actually been too much work for me. I've actually played a lot less this season. I feel like compared to last couple seasons because I get my keys done on my main and then I have the raid to look forward to and do. But before, once we do AOTC after like 6 or 7 weeks, we don't really raid anymore. So then it's just kind of like doing keys, doing alts. But now since I'm still kind of progressing the raid, I'm only really kind of putting the work in on the main, and I have like one alt I'll play if I don't need anything on it just to get vaults for. Sure. So
now you know what it's like living my life, Io. It's chill.
Yeah, I actually feel like I play less, but yeah.
I feel like you're on just as much as we are, though.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Scrap, you're nowhere to be found. I don't know what you're talking about.
I see him on all the time.
Wait, I take it back.
Not to mention you still raid with us.
Yeah, well,
yeah, that's why I was thinking it's a lot of work. Is that you're doing 2 raids and then also getting all your keys done a week? I mean, that's a lot to do.
That's what he's trying to tell Scrap. He's dropping us next season.
No. I wouldn't say that. But I mean, I don't really consider you guys like work because that's just kind of for fun. But
wow,
I barely give any effort.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I just mean like in terms of like how people usually think about Mythic Raiding, and I mean I'm in a somewhat casual guild because we only raid like 2 nights a week, and you don't need like 6 of your main to do splits on or whatever. It's not like anything crazy like that. So that part hasn't been exhausting, but I guess the only thing that was exhausting this week was feeling like I had to grind that extra 10 eye levels because there's like there's people relying on it. But
yeah. Well, yeah, okay. All right.
Oh, now you got 681 is fucking crazy shit, man.
Well, and again, he said himself. So 681 has been a big boost. We're gonna have horrific vision soon. We're gonna have the Delve
corruptions
belt
next week. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have the other renowned track benefits too. So
I'm not getting out of bed for anything less than survival major buff.
I guess you're staying in bed.
I stay in bed.
Great hanging out.
I stay in bed.
Okay, well, let's keep moving on then. We will talk about player housing next. Now, Scrap, so as a group, we were supposed to talk about this stuff a long time ago. I was kind of waiting to see if Shawnee wanted to come and do his little bit for it. And then like everyone's been out of town and our other episodes were going super long already to begin with. So we have this post from way back when, what is this? April 25th. So
that's almost a month ago.
Yeah, almost a month ago. I'm going to really quickly go through this because there are things in here that didn't come as a surprise given what their guiding principles were, which is a progressive journey, core gameplay with variations, and then reverence for the past. So
I never saw any of this stuff, so I'm excited.
The long and short of it, Scrap, is the progressive journey principle means that the majority of decor types, chair, bed, shelf, etc., are considered commodities and are readily available from vendors, other players via the auction house, spoiler, and questing, so on. If you want a wooden chair, it's very easy and inexpensive to acquire. There's the investment decor, which are generally more niche items in either theming, looks, or appeal, which require more time and or more investment. Examples
More
could be a
money.
sparkling fountain with particle effects or magic books that flop
Oh.
about on their own. More on this magical
Particle
books here in a
effects.
second, okay?
Whew.
Lastly, there are things that we think of as trophies. So this is the Onyxia head that we saw in the reveal trailer, things like that. So think of along the lines of M+ and raid rewards or long-term achievements. If you're looking for the Onyxia's head mount on the wall, you'll have to defeat her to take it. Variety is the spice of life. So when we're first drafting this article, there was a line that read, "Where can I get decor?" Yes, I guess I don't. While pithy, it's not far from the truth either when it comes to our second principle of core gameplay with variations. Decor should come from everywhere and everything. You want to find decor rewards in all sorts of gameplay, not just a single avenue that you feel forced to interact with over and over. For example, while there's a specific jade inlaid bookshelf that might come to a particular quest in Pandaria, other bookshelves should come from vendors, professions, and other varied forms of content. So,
Cool.
there will be obviously rewards for doing certain specific things out in the middle of a different continent. But if you want to just buy a bookshelf, you can just buy a bookshelf, whether it be from a vendor or a professional. And this picture here shows like Stormwind Hall Rug. So each quartermaster for each faction of the main factions will have a couple of things that you can buy.
That's cool. So you could have like a Stormwind theme bedroom or something.
Yep.
It's
And-
cute.
And finally, the principle of reverence for the past encapsulates a few things. All the time spent in Azeroth is worth something. We're leveraging legacy, reputations, professions, and more. If you
Cool.
achieved, this professional one's a big one. If you achieved something in the past, we want to embrace that time spent. If you raised your reputation to exalted with someone, you'll be able to purchase their goods right away. If you completed an achievement 10 years ago that rewards a new piece of decor today, you'll be granted that piece of decor on login. Legacy decor should be well integrated into the appropriate existing content and not feel crowbarred in. For example, using the local systems and currencies of a piece of related content, such as Mechagon's junkyard tinkering, when it makes sense and is available. We're not going to have the decor equivalent of transmog runs. We're still working through what this means in practice. Is it only available during time walking? Is there something more deterministic we can do? But the thought of someone farming them out for years across multiple characters every week, finally earning it, and then being told, well, time to go back and grind for the couch, is rough. We'd like to avoid this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then harkening back again to the long-lasting journey pillar, we're going to continue fleshing out decor from past expansions and future patches. So long and short, they're not done with what they're trying to bring into the items. So this was something that was big to Flux. So trust me, I'm a professional. We're not going to bury the lead here. Decor will be crafted by all existing non-gathering primary professions instead of creating a new profession solely dedicated to it. This is what I thought they should have done. Like blacksmiths make metal things, leather workers make, leather
And
things.
scripters get to do
What's-
something now.
What's
Yeah.
alchemy gonna make?
Bottles.
No, yeah, they can make
Bottles.
the potions, they can make the magical
You can't make
effects.
bottles. That's jewel
Wait.
crafting.
Maybe sparkly like effects, like things like that.
Yeah, and not
Oh,
to
yeah.
mention
Oh,
you
good.
could have like, a cauldron in your house.
Cauldron, Lithian, a potion set, like
So,
chemistry set.
Anyways,
Like that.
each profession will be able to craft a few pieces of appropriate decor from each expansion, so that's going to be important if you haven't leveled up your
So
other,
cool.
right? Using that expansion's version of the profession. So to craft something from Mr. Pandaria, you need to be relevant. Need the relevant Mr. Pandaria profession at the appropriate level.
Oh, I don't have that.
No
So-
way. This is kind of fun, actually. I want to go in my alts and be working on
Well, so here's the
every
thing, Scrap.
profession.
Here's the thing. Imagine if you're one of the people that hoard all sorts of reagents from past
Yeah,
expansions,
that's gonna go up in price.
hold on to it because this is going to skyrocket. All right,
Yeah.
so to craft something, players will need not only the required recipe and skill level, but they will also need to gather a new type of decor crafting specific reagent per expansion, as well as any required reagents from that expansion. So there'll be new reagents to go with it. In general, like most profession-made goods, crafted decor can be traded on to other players or sold on the auction house. So that's nice. You can just do it without having to wait for someone. And some examples of what professions will be able to make: blacksmithing creates a decor made primary metal. Enchanting creates magical decor like floating books. Jewel crafters make decor like gems and gem-studded objects, so on and so forth.
It doesn't say alchemy.
2 of the points above should be underscored. Your profession and their levels from past expansions matter, and so do some of the reagents from those expansions. Just in case you're looking something else to do between now and the launch of housing. So go start farming.
Nope.
And then some light housekeeping. We want to mention the smattering of related but similar smaller items well before this thing wraps up. Decorations are only placeable if you have enough of them, based on how many you've collected. So, if you want to place 4 chairs, you'll need to collect 4 chairs. Furthermore, collected decorations are shared across your entire Battle.net account, so anything you collect on any character or any of your game accounts is shared across all of them. If you have 4 fountains...
Dude, imagine the flex of, like, there's, like, this crazy chair that it's so hard to get. You just have a dining room table, like, with all the chairs, like, 6 chairs.
No, but that's the thing. You'd have to get this crazy item 6 times.
Yeah, that's why it's such a huge flex, because it's like, dude, you got 1 chair in your house? I have, like, a whole dining room table set up.
I'm calling it now. Scrap will see that when, like, you know, I don't know, Haywire does it. And she'll just be like, loser. That's what you're
kind of a little bit like ostentatious. Like,
right, just changing the rules.
On the flip side, there's a concept of unique decor that you can only place once, no matter how many copies you may have. It doesn't make sense, for example, to place 9 copies of Anixia's head on your wall, despite the many times you've killed for her. You'll note a mention of housing-specific activities earlier. This might be better worded as neighborhood-specific activities. More on that soon. And then we're committing to an ongoing release of new decorations going both backwards and previous expansions as well as forward with new ones. Okay? So, this was a month ago. Now, again, this wasn't such a big hype because given the first blue posts about this, everyone's expectations were kind of like elevated.
They didn't give us any damn videos in this one, so no one talked about it.
This is old.
So, here's why they didn't scrap. Because PAX was in Boston this last week, okay? And Blizzard was at PAX to talk about a couple things that we'll talk about in a minute. But we now know why Blizzard acquired that company in Boston, which I think was called like...
I remember speculating about that.
Yep.
You're like, ooh, they're going to make a crazy
So 2
thing.
years ago, or 3 years ago at this point, they acquired the company in Boston. And we, at the time, I was like, and I think we even talked about this a little bit on the podcast. Like, I think that they're going to be trying to make more dungeons. We'll see more dungeons as a result of this because I think, and I'm not going to read through all this, but I think that's like what their specialty was, is like
Thank
that
goodness.
kind of content. But no, it now appears that this studio was brought on to make player housing. So they've been working on this for, you know, arguably 3 years now. And now we know what they were up to. So that's a little interesting tidbit. However, Scrap, there was a secret meeting of a couple of content creators and, game journalists where Blizzard gave them a hands-on alpha play of all the content. So, what happened was Preach, Dratnos, other people, So Breezy, stuff like that, got a chance to play it, all right? And here's some screenshots. What I'm gonna do.
Look at that, how cluttered it is. That's gonna be my house.
So I'm gonna show you real quick. Dratnos is they gave them B-roll to show. Now they weren't allowed to play outside of the house, but this is what the B-roll shows of the neighborhood.
Oh my god, that looks so fun.
Oh my god, that looks terrible.
What are you talking about? This looks awesome.
They
My
said,
word.
Are you gonna be RP walking down the street with me, Lithian, like old ladies? Like we're going on our morning walk.
It's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
So you are able to decorate the outside of your house as well as the inside of your house.
Oh my god.
Right? God, there's actually, this is gonna be hard because there's so much that came out of this. I'm gonna try to quickly, go over the summaries. So a lot of information regarding the current state of player housing is still off the books and can't be revealed. So they weren't allowed to record during playtesting, but they were allowed to take 3 screenshots. Blizzard really wants the feedback about player housing problems from other games to see where they can improve the pain points for players. The outside of the house can be decorated. The inside of each player house is completely freeform and not constricted by outside dimensions. I think they said that they can do up to 3 levels.
It's got to
and
be
10
instance
rooms.
then.
It is.
Right?
It is instance. It is instance.
Yeah.
All the new items coming into WoW are designed with housing in mind, especially the dyeable ones. So we've already talked about dyeing. A lot of the old items have missing surfaces. So think about how old classic buildings didn't have things like roofs from above. And that's why Cataclysm needed to revamp the world. Long and short of that's just more of like background thing they had to do.
Yeah.
Every patch from now on should theoretically have new assets that come from housing because of this push in philosophy. So like they said in the last post, both forward. So, patch 11.1 comes out. We get a whole bunch of goblin themed stuff. The demo build had a cap of 10,000 items. That is not the final number and can be compared to a cap of 400 in Final Fantasy. So 10K versus 400 is huge.
Yeah.
All promotional images of housing thus far have been from one house. The item cap and capabilities are enormous. And you can keybind the housing menu tools. Performance was shockingly stable. The game works fine in the open world. You'll likely be just fine in housing. Lighting is supposed to be, that wasn't working as they were hoping it would in the alpha bid, but apparently it's going to be very customizable. Yeah, well, not dynamic, customizable, right? It won't have day-night cycles apparently, but you can kind of adjust how you want it to look.
Yeah.
Import-export features aren't currently available. Neighborhood information will be coming soon, but can't be shared yet. I think this is going to be a big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got to be in the same neighborhood, dude.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have an MDL neighborhood for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you don't want to
are we
engage,
putting
you don't
it
have to.
in Alliance or Horde though? We gotta talk. We have to have a vote because Frank's gonna riot if it's a Horde.
As in regards of utility, yeah, don't get me started. We're not saying no to utility, but they're very concerned about the garrisons rearing their head again. So they're trying not to do like herb gardens and stuff like that. And version 1 of housing has already exceeded expectations in a spectacular way. Every single person
This needs to be, like has to be part of utility, but I think it should be like an option that like I can go here to do my crafting or do my work orders or something. Like I think that level of like integrated gameplay would be good.
So
Frank, are you done reading your bedtime story to us? Is it
falling asleep at the end?
What?
Yeah, I'm a little drowsy.
Lithium, this is a big deal. You're not getting excited?
Look, let me tell you, my house is going to be square, and if you played Minecraft with me, you know it's going to be square. It's going to have a bed and a chair, and that's it.
That's what I was thinking, is that when you said that, okay, inside instance, outside is like a standard house, I was like, oh, thank God, because I don't want to see whatever Lithium does with the roof.
It's fine.
He doesn't know how to make a roof
he's
in
gonna let you put up
Minecraft.
the vines and everything outside, but everything else.
Yeah, actually, I will. I'll do my service. I'll be like, dude, if I'm gonna be across from Lithium, it's gotta look good.
Could people help other people with their houses? That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be good. Like if we're in a group, you can move things around. Yeah.
The thing is, we keep joking about an HOA, but I think now that there actually would be a benefit to having an HOA to tell Lithium, hey, Lithium, you got to put more vines out, dude.
Cut your grass. Cut your grass.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be the opposite. It's like, dude, you don't have enough texture in your yard. It looks like shit. It looks like AstroTurf.
So Dratnos was talking about the demo that the devs gave, like they did a 30-minute hands-on with the devs building stuff.
Oh.
And so for example, I know you can't see it, but like you see these cross beams up here.
Yeah, cross beams.
Those aren't cross beams. Like they just took an asset and made it look like a cross beam. So it's going to be very.
Oh, cool. It's like a chair or something.
Yeah, exactly right. You could zoom in a chair so much that it like just has the perfect cross beam you want. And
I
just
remember
use
seeing that because I play a lot of like Planet Zoo and stuff, and in Planet Zoo it's like that's what you do. You can make like a tree, you can like sink it into the ground and then it looks like bush cover or something. Like
yeah, but like look at this lamp right here. Like so they just took this asset of a horn and then added the chain light to it, right? Because you can see this one's different. I don't know how it's shaped.
I'm going crazy on this shit,
They talked about how they built a stovetop by taking a table and then I don't think it was these drums, but like they said some sort of thing like this seat, and they just like blended it in to the point where it looked like a stovetop, right?
Yeah.
Dratno said so. Like for example, wallpaper seems to be a thing where everything will be stone, but you can just take any asset and blend it into the wall well enough that it'll essentially become a wallpaper if you want. He said that you're able to.
Look at that guy's face. Look at how excited
he's
is.
He's having
man.
so much fun. That's Dratnos. Like he's having the best time ever. That's gonna be me.
Right. So here's another example.
Because this is what my fucking house is gonna look like. It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be insane.
Dratno saved a picture where he like made a jumping puzzle room, right? And he said he was having a ton of fun doing that. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't think anything of this is really new, other than like how the technology was working and how well it was working. But like we kind of knew like the bookshelves are gonna be fully customizable and all that stuff. But this is just to show you like how good it can look, and that the second this launches, like Reddit and Twitter and all that are just gonna be nonstop. Look like this crazy cool thing I put together.
I'm excited to see like videos pop up like that are going to be like, oh, here's how you make a stovetop, like and like here's some neat tricks of how to like make your bed cooler. Like I watch like hours of Minecraft videos like that, so the flamingo, oh, that's so cute.
Here's the thing though, so we are still probably 6 to 8 to 9 months away from having this feature in our hands, and I think it speaks so much volume to the confidence Blizzard has on how well this is going for them to not only pull people in and show them, hands-on this early, but they also broadcast it with like an event that they effectively say like, hey everyone, there's an embargo, you can't talk about this until Monday at 7 p.m. or whatever, and everyone just like floods with these videos, Preach, Dratnos, Taliesin, and all of them. Every single one of them walked away with it saying, holy hell, this is awesome.
I mean, think about the difference between how they like pitched War Within, where like everything was so hush hush and shitty because they knew it was gonna flop.
Wow.
Wait, War Within is now flopped?
Yeah, when did it flop?
Opening of it.
Did I miss that part?
We had a long talk about how it was like not as good and stuff, and
look,
I think it flopped.
Could this be the one feature that just brings WoW back to a level of like the forefront of gaming?
I think it could be, especially if they're specifically coming for Final Fantasy. I mean, this is like the big thing that Final Fantasy has over WoW. Like you can have your own house. Like there's so much more customization. They also have like big customization of armor and shit like that, and like way more transmog to collect. But I think this is a really fucking good start. If they just smash player housing like completely out of the park, like just like Final Fantasy fucking wishes they could have this level of customization, it's gonna push people over, I think.
I bet you $1.
$1?
Turns out just like the garrisons.
No, dude. Maybe
I'll
for
take
you.
A whole $1.
I'll take
$1. Yeah,
Maybe
it's just
for
$1.
you with your square house, but you're gonna walk into my house and you'll be like, damn,
Yeah.
I wish I could.
Lithy,
do
this is what's
something
gonna
like that."
happen. Me, Flux, Scrap, Haywire, even, right? Io, are you gonna be big on this?
Maybe we'll see.
We'll see. Oh, he's still on the fence. Why are you still on the fence on it?
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily know how much time I'll spend in there. I think when it comes out, I'll be really excited to do it, kind of track down what I want to farm for it, and then kind of design it. But then once I get it how I want it, I mean, I do like the social aspect of being in the city and everything. So I don't know how much time I'll actually spend in there. So it'll just kind of depend on what you do in there, or what you can, how it's integrated into the rest of the game.
My dog is gonna hang out, man. You gotta hang out with the dog.
Yeah, dude. All my pets, the whole house is gonna belong to them.
All joking aside, though, I mean, in the throes of a season, like we finished the raid, and having everyone back in their homes, like running around doing whatever you can do, I feel will bring us like to a different level of community than just simply we're on Dornagal, but I'm not in the same shard as you are. And even if I am, I don't notice it because your name is the same hue as everyone else's name. It's going to be to the point where this is what I was going to challenge Lithian. Lithian, we're going to be all in our little homes, just Minecrafting away, and you're going to feel like, I guess I have to kind of make a little nicer room. They won't come over if I don't.
Because you're going to make so much fun of how shitty your square house
here's the thing. After raid, after raid, and then we do our really terrible after raid key. Yeah. I'm gonna go to my real bed and go to sleep.
You're such a liar because in Dornagal we have like spots that you and I hang out.
I know.
Like we had like this one rooftop that we're both chilling on. We had the hot tub.
The hot tub, yeah.
Like we need a spot to chill when
we're gonna make like a little bus stop in our neighborhood where it's like this is where everyone goes to get ready for Mythic Plus.
I want like a barbecue area, like a fire pit. Like that's where I'm gonna hang out after we're done with the key. We're spinning Frank up about bullshit. We need to have like a fire pit and a hot tub.
I'll throw a few vines on my house so the HOA doesn't come after me. But inside, a wooden chair and a bed.
And a glass of whiskey.
And my dog. And my dog.
And a whiskey cabinet.
If I could make a whiskey cabinet, I would have that, yes.
You probably can.
You 100% can. Yeah. As an alchemist, you will make the glass and the juice.
I bet you can make a bed out of like barrels of whiskey. Like you could make a whiskey barrel table and stuff, like you can do anything. If they give you a plank and they're like, you can place a plank, you can make anything. Like you can do anything with just like a wooden plank.
It's going to be so diverse in how you can build. I feel like there's going to be web series popping up on YouTube of just people, no joke, like doing HGTV-esque type shows of like, this week, let's talk about how we build the whiskey room. And, it's just like insane looking.
There's a massive community for that, for Minecraft, for The Sims, for Planet Zoo and stuff, where they're like, hey, if you combine these two things, you can make like this, like, and you can make a whole video out of that, So
Boy, I tell you, I hope I have to give that dollar away.
We could play werewolf
we could play
Yeah.
werewolf.
in the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah, we could.
No,
Yeah, everybody
what-
go back to your homes.
Everybody go back
and
to your homes. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
Traitor
like
raid,
right on
I'm
the
gonna make
clock
everyone
tower.
go into a room that is gonna be the actual round table room where
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
gonna have to stand around and you guys are gonna have to point at each other when you say I
Well,
accuse you.
here's what I hope there is, because it looked like, they're walking around the city, is that like you as the guild master can like customize things in the greater city. Like we're gonna put
Oh,
a
yeah.
fountain here and
absolutely.
things there. So you can have like a town hall, and like we go into the town hall that week and it's all werewolf themed or something. And like for holidays you can put Christmas decorations.
So that's the
and
thing. They
stuff.
said the neighborhood events, which is they said, more on this soon. I think is gonna be that they did talk about there will be like holiday, you'll get Christmas lights, you'll get Halloween jack-o'-lanterns and stuff like that.
Listen, you gotta put Christmas lights up or you're getting kicked out of the HOA.
I'll throw a Christmas tree in the front yard, so y'all leave me
But it
alone.
has to come down by
No,
February.
No, that's
like,
the thing. He's
Yeah.
gonna in January. He's just gonna like make it crooked and like laying on its side.
yeah.
It's fine.
like-
Yeah,
He's
leave
waiting
it
for the
out
trash to
there
come
in the
and pick it up.
yard.
I'm gonna put mine on the
Yeah.
curb, like where my trash bins are, like for a week.
So, all
Oh my
joking
God.
aside, though, that is the level of RP that people can pull off with this.
yeah, I'm gonna be RPing like crazy. You guys are getting
It's
sick of me.
it's insane.
They
Like,
already
again,
are.
Yeah.
they've obviously hit it out of the park. They're confident it's going to be as good as we think it's going to be. And of course, the people they've let play it have already said that as such. I do believe that this is going to be, as you said, Scrap, the Sims, like the Sims level of kind of like people just become enamored with, I want to see what you can build with. And the technology, honestly, is, in my opinion, better than the Sims because the Sims still got its like, rigid.
The Sims is stuck in like
grid.
2013.
Oh, yeah. Whereas like the creativity level of being able to make and bigger and smaller and distort everything is going to be insane. So
Remember we talked about this when there was like a teaser. I mean, like during Shadowlands and stuff. There was like a teaser where they talked about the Sims being like you could play online, and I was already excited about like us playing. I was dude, it's gonna be so fun. Like co-op Sims is sick. Like, but now we get to play it in WoW, which is better because I don't even really like the Sims. I don't want
to have to tell my guy to go to the bathroom. Anyways, so the
You have a
timeline is
bathroom.
looking as such that we are now probably going to get 11.2 end of July, early August, maybe August just in general, right?
Shit, we gotta get Resilient 15 by then.
The timeline, the roadmap suggests that we were gonna get this pre-patch for midnight. Do you guys think we're gonna see midnight in 2025? Do you think we're gonna see midnight? What would your timeline be for when we see midnight? Let's start there.
I think January sounds good to me.
January.
Yeah.
Okay.
Early
Yeah.
2026, I think.
Scrap's really been on point with the dates. I'm just going to go with whatever she
Thank you, Vivian, for
says.
saying that. Like, Frank acts like I'm not, but I am.
If season 3 comes out in August and they do a 6-ish month season, right? So that would put us in February of next year. And that said, though, usually the end expansion seasons are a little bit longer, but we could see.
Yeah, our season 4. Like
I definitely think we're gonna see alpha, by the BlizzCon timed, season. So like, I know we're not doing BlizzCon this year, but by the time that Thanksgiving rolls around, I wouldn't be surprised if we see alpha for midnight, which means player housing is gonna be landing right around Christmas ish. Right?
I'm already gonna be grinding for like fucking ancient herbs and shit, like cataclysm grade herbs.
Wouldn't that be the best Christmas present to say, hey, those like that week you take off from work or whatever, or people who are home from school and get 2 weeks off or whatever?
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Now you can build your house and put up Christmas lights. People would be losing their mind.
I would gonna lose my mind just thinking about it. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. We'll see.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add on this?
No.
I mean, I remember when we brought up this topic of player housing and Shawnee was like, yeah, I'm so excited for this. And I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to engage with this at all. But then that first thing direct dropped and I'm fully all fucking in. And I would continue to be fully all in. It's getting better. All they had to show was like the sliders and the widgets or whatever. I can't remember what you call them. Like, that's all I need. Because then it's like I said, all I need. Look at those whiskey barrels, Lithian.
Well,
is that a whiskey barrel?
They're barrels.
I don't know. Barrels, whatever. But like, look at this. This is gonna be my house. My house could be a fucking nightmare, just like my real house. Like, just shit everywhere. I cannot wait. I'm gonna
Oh
have a room
gosh.
for Braylon. I'm
I-
gonna have a room for Scrapclaw. They'll be like odd couple roommates, you know.
Oh.
I like the picture there. That's
No,
great.
so
That's
actually,
Frank.
this is something that I think Taliesin asked. He said, "Can you make a player portrait?" Because they were saying like, "Give us some ideas of things we should be thinking about." And
Incorporate Mid-Journey. Like
no.
so
He
we
said
can get a Mid-Journey
like
portrait.
what they talked about, and again, I'm very loosely quoting here, is that you would like have you just use the selfie camera in game and take a picture of
That's
yourself.
photography in the game.
And
so
then
yeah.
and then there would be like a
Yeah.
filter that would be portrait, and then it just like
Yeah.
makes you into a painting. So you could put
I
those
would
up.
I
in
like
your house.
the
Yeah, like when we take our raid photo at the end of raid when we kill
Yeah,
the boss,
exactly.
I'm gonna ping
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
on my
That'd be
wall, on my
cool.
fridge. Like, here's all my kills on the fridge, you know.
So, and you can see
Oh,
some of the
that's so
flying
good.
books right here.
Oh, that's sick.
It's so cool.
floating
And
chandelier.
this is just one room. You can have 10 of these, 3 floors.
Dude,
Bruh.
you can have the brooms from Silver Moon just sweeping your floor.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, I bet
like,
you
going
could.
around.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm thinking I'm gonna do like a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, you know, with a den.
What are the chairs
I'm
that
doing,
are
kitchen.
What's your
like?
budget? What's your budget?
Budget, no fucking budget. You kidding me?
What's the name of the chairs that have
Look at those
like that you
horses.
can lay down on, and the back is like kind of like the
Fainting couch.
no
A love seat or a futon?
no. It's like the
Just name a couch.
George
Fainting
Costanza.
couch.
George Costanza posed on one. I'm not gonna go down this route.
It's a
Anyways,
fainting couch. It's called a fainting couch.
a
I'm telling
fading
you.
couch. I mean,
A fainting couch. Google it. Yeah.
I wouldn't Google that.
okay, that looks like
That's what it's called.
Chase. That's what it's Chase Lounger. That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
of.
Chase
Yeah,
Lounge. That's
Lounger.
different than
But
a
this
fainting.
looks a
Duh.
lot like that too. All right, sorry.
That's what it's called. See, I was right. You doubted me.
No,
But
no,
look at,
because
wait,
that's
go
not
back
the
to
chair I was
spot
referring
we're
to, Scrap. But in fairness, yours looked a lot like it.
at. Go to the thing. Back to that thing that you had up. See the little horses on the book stand? You could have My Little
Yeah.
Ponies.
Well, no, there's actually a point where they like zoom in on that.
I want I can have like a little plastic figure of like my pets, my hunter pets, like lined up on the shelf, you know? Just like in my real house where I have all my little toys all over my shelf.
This is going to be great, just flat out.
I'm
Can't
gonna
wait.
waste so much of my life doing this in positive.
And this is something else to talk about. Like, so this room is not like a slanted roof, but someone added
Yeah,
it by
they
just
just
taking
put some
plank to woods and
tiles.
stuff.
Planks of wood, dude. They probably stacked like beds, and there's like a corner of a bed that they're
exactly,
using.
exactly.
You know? Yeah.
That's like plus 800%.
You can make a dollhouse probably. You could do a tiny bed and a tiny
There's your unicorns.
Aw.
Oh yes, look at those are so cute.
I'm gonna
Oh,
do
man.
a studio.
A
Just
studio apartment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All
That's fine.
connected. You're gonna have like a closet with your washer dryer. Like
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Well, Scrap, we're gonna have a book here that's just gonna be all the cat fights, and they're gonna be logged. They did say that any books that you read in the overworld, they'll
you can
be
have
able to
it?
be reread in your library.
So
Oh, that's
cool.
So
sick.
that's cool. I don't know.
I remember when we played Raft, like I had like my important papers, you know, like spread around the like I'm gonna have like so much random bullshit like that. Like don't fuck with my papers, you know. I'm gonna have house plants.
Your house is gonna look like
Look,
somebody
this alchemy
robbed it.
shit, dude. Dude, my
That's
house is gonna
cooking.
look like a fucking like House Moving Castle. It's gonna be
I
fucking
don't know.
stacked. You're gonna walk in, your
VLC media
computer's gonna
player really
explode.
kind knows.
I
Yeah.
use VLC.
VLC player, yeah.
Okay.
You are the kind of guy who would use VLC, bro.
Yeah. All right. We also got some news out of PAX. So one of the big things that came out of it was that Legion Remix is coming officially. Now, if you remember when we originally talked about what we wanted out of this, I told you guys one of the things I wanted was unlimited Mythic Plus. And it seems that that is what they're going to do. They're going to say,
No way. That was when I said no way they're gonna do that.
I know. And that's why I'm bringing it up to tell you you're wrong again.
I was wrong. I'll eat a hat on that.
So they are saying, like, look, at this point, if you want to see if you can break it, right? Like, just have fun, go crazy. Hopefully, they're learning a lot of the lessons of things that actually wasn't fun about breaking in Mr. Pandaria's system.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, while I love the idea of like going to Mythic plus 100, I also don't want to feel like it is literally just like 99 levels of us doing 20 seconds of a run. And then level 100 is like, oh, now it's scaled plus 8 billion% or something.
I also don't want to have to
Yeah.
like farm for 8 hours some frogs or whatever the fuck to get the power to do something.
That was
like
cheating.
that, you know?
That was cheating.
I don't know.
That was
Yeah,
cheating.
I
the
never believed
exploit.
in that in the first place anyways. I was like, look, just play the game. Like, stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
We're not going to
Moth
worry about the
Arm.
leaderboards of the Mythic Plus Legion.
No, I
remakes.
don't care about that. I mean, I'm same as the Pandaria remix. I'm excited for all the fucking mounts and transmogs and stuff. Like that was super fun for me.
And
There was just so many mounts.
They also announced a shattered timeline, which is going to be kind of like Diablo's world tier systems, where they want to make the open world feel more deadly. And so they'll have a more challenge for open world players. What that means, we don't know. Yeah, I mean, but what that means, we don't know. Obviously, it's remix. Like, it could be just fucking terribly underbalanced anyways. But we will see this, I think, this year, because it was on the roadmap unofficially. So it could be that we see Legion Remix maybe October, and again that leads into all the other fun things that come. So that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I imagine we'll probably see it the 11.2, maybe 0.7 or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Legion is an insanely good expansion. That said, I don't really like the dungeons out of Legion. Right, so we got Halls of Valor.
We love Court of Stars.
No, not really Court of Stars. Like, I'm more excited about the other one. What was it? The Arcway, right? Like that one was kind of fun, even though I feel like it'll get stale very quickly. But
Halls of Valor, you do love that one though.
No, not really. And it would be the old Halls of Valor, which was the worst version of it. And then there's Maw of Souls, which like takes 20 seconds. What else is there?
Dark Root, Basin, or whatever.
Shrine of the Storm. No, not Shrine of the Storm. Sorry. What's the Eye of Azar, sorry. Eye of Azar, I just feel like it's so long.
That one's real annoying to do in time walking, so I can't imagine doing it Mythic Plus.
Dark Heart, which we've seen.
Dark Heart ticket, that's it.
Blackrock Hold.
Oh yeah, Blackrock Hold.
Anything else? What am I forgetting?
I think Court of Stars is one of the dungeons.
Oh no, Therian's Lair.
My favorite. So, I don't really.
Well, okay. Actually, I just remembered though. Those are the base ones, but we did get Karazhan upper and lower in.
Legion. Karazhan upper and lower are fucking iconic.
We did get the 2 dungeons out of the last patch and the 1 dungeon out of the Broken Shore patch. So there will actually be maybe 15 dungeons going into that Mythic Plus season. That'd be kind of insane.
Yeah.
And of course,
I don't care too much about this.
You really?
I don't care.
No, the Mythic Plus aspect, I don't really care too much about.
Really? I'm okay. So you're saying like in general, I'm cool.
I want to do the quests and the leveling and get the mounts and stuff, but I don't see me slamming score in Legion Remix.
No, but it will be fun to see like how wild it can get.
I guess so.
No, scrap. Wait, can we have you tank or heal?
Oh my gosh! Do a support. Do a support thing. Either heal or tank.
I don't have a shaman. I can heal on a shaman maybe.
Okay, so you're gonna heal this season of Legion?
Yeah, remix. I'll heal that. Yeah.
Okay. All
right. Dude, I'm totally gonna play. I'm gonna play.
We're gonna make Shawnee
100%
tank.
now.
Shawnee tank and me heal.
Yep.
Shawnee's gonna be so mad, dude.
Yeah, you better get a backup tank because I don't think Shawnee's gonna like the way I heal him. He's gonna be not at all. So.
He's gonna be so mad.
Well, either way, awesome stuff. We also got a hint at this mysterious new game mode, and that is developed.
It's just a big question mark. What the fuck kind of graphic is that?
It's just a slideshow, Scrap. They PowerPointed this shit.
It's just really funny to me.
It's similar to Plunderstorm.
It was developed similarly to Plunderstorm. Now, this is what we believe is to be that Vampire Hunter game, or is it Hunter?
Come again?
What?
V Rising?
No.
V Rising? No. Oh no!
Isn't Vampire Hunter a type of game mode for like? Yeah, there's a game called Vampire Hunters, isn't there?
Pull it up.
I mean, I'm sure there is.
Vampire Hunter D. That's the anime.
Yeah, that's an anime.
Look at the Vampire Hunter costume. That guy looks sick. In the top left.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
What are you talking about, Frank?
I could have sworn. I literally pulled up. I watched the footage because like I don't even know how this game works.
It's Vampire Survivors.
Maybe that's
it. Like a survival game.
Yeah, that's what we're what that vampire game V Rising.
Sorry, I wrote Hunters. I meant Survivors. I'm sorry.
I have that game on my phone. It's great.
Is this not like V Rising? What is it?
No, it's not like V Rising. right? So
No, it's just like a
real quick.
gauntlet type game.
yeah,
Oh,
so
it's like an old ass bullshit game.
well, no, it's not old, but it looks like
Oh
they
my
just
God, I'm not playing this. This looks like crap.
well, so okay,
I have that on my phone. What are you talking
isn't
about?
This is
Wow,
like,
this
it's like Galaga. It's like a mobile
well,
game.
no, because you get like super powerful by the end of it, right? Like you have like just
Yeah, you're doing Galaga too. I played this
Galaga-
game
I
on
love this.
Neopets,
I love
bro.
this game, dude. It's fun.
Dude, this looks a Neopets ass game.
So let me ask you this, Lithin, because I've never played anything like this. I don't know what to expect. And now I also my question is like, how does WoW pull something like this off? Because this is like this doesn't seem like a
It's
thing a
all this
WoW
was
can
made
do.
in a toaster.
I like how he zoomed in on the guy. I mean, I think it could be. You know how they have like a Violet Hold. You could just be in a place where mobs are just coming until you get overwhelmed.
Yeah, but like
I don't know.
like that's not really a different. It's not like Plunderstorm game mode, right? Like where they give you new. I don't know. I just don't feel like.
It's not gonna be top down like this. It's gonna be like
Maybe
WoW,
it will.
right?
Maybe it will.
Well,
be.
yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, like Plunderstorm was a completely different take on
Battle Royale?
how we
But
played the game.
I was gonna say, but it was just straight up just a regular battle royale. Like we've all played games like that. before.
Right, but my point is, I think if they got creative and they wanted to do a vampire hunter type game, as Frank calls it,
So,
I got
I
I wrote it
think they
down
could.
wrong. Vampire Survivor.
it's a
Sorry.
Survivor game. Oh
I-
yeah, like
I think they
Survivor
could.
IO
I
is
think
like
they
a phone
could.
game.
I think that'd
Yeah,
be
they-
so much fun. I'd enjoy it.
Well, and I feel like
'Cause I
there'd be a
love
little bit
games
of
like this.
Torghast in this too, wouldn't there?
Oh,
maybe
I love Torghast, dude.
If I can play this on my phone, like maybe, but I'm not gonna play this Neopets ass
Bullshit.
game.
No, bullshit. You're gonna play it
No,
You
I'm
will.
not.
because it's
No,
gonna
if
be
it's,
a
if it's
pirate
top down like
mount.
this, I'm not gonna play it. I'm terrible at
Yeah.
these kinds of games, dude.
If-
Like, that's
If
where
they
I'm
have a
paid.
parrot mount, then you're
Yeah,
all
I got
in.
it. Well, I have to, but I'm gonna do it like how you did Plunderstorm, where you're like grumbling and like, whatever. I just grind it out by myself. You're gonna have no love for it, like, or you had no love for Plunderstorm. I got no love for
No,
this.
I grinded it out so I can get all the rewards.
Wait, what?
I'd rather play like the dinosaur game that you get when your internet's out, where you're just jumping over stuff. That's like this level, same level of gameplay.
What, on Google?
Yeah,
What?
Google dinosaur
Oh,
jump.
God.
Just another
I
thing
don't
to
know
keep,
who should be more upset, right? Is the like the fact that Blizzard's gonna be like, well, why the fuck are we making this if that's how she feels about it? Or the people who made this game who go,
Fellas,
you think this is just the Google dinosaur jumping over
fellas,
cactuses?
I ain't a gamer. Like I don't play shit
ain't
like
a
this.
gamer.
Yeah, no, I don't
okay,
play
I'm
shit
gonna
dude.
prove
like
that
this.
wrong in a millisecond. Scrap, how much have you
What?
played Roller Coaster Tycoon in the past month?
Oh god, I love Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's a sim game. I like Sims games.
So you're
You know?
a gamer then?
Yeah, you're a
Is what
gamer.
it sounds
I
like.
bet if you told somebody, like, if they asked you what kind of games you played, like, I'm a gamer, and they said, what kind of games you play? You said Roller Coaster Tycoon, they would go, like, you know, like that.
No, they'd go,
Well, I'm sorry,
oh,
like
like
what?
definitely a gamer because I don't know that game.
No, it's
Roller
like
Coaster Tycoon.
I make fun of Flux for playing the factory games, right?
No,
I know
yeah,
Frank
factory
plays it
games.
too, but
Anyways, okay, we're getting sidetracked here.
Well, you don't catch me playing. I play the, like the hack and slash. Like I like my Dark Souls and
oh,
stuff.
Dark Souls, yeah, dude.
I like Yoshi's
Elden Ring.
games.
Gamers don't play Dark Souls
No,
usually.
but I mean, like I like that kind of game. I like WoW kind of game.
So
I
you're a
like Roller
gamer.
Coaster Tycoon
Sounds
kind
like
of
you're
game.
a gamer.
I do not like this phone ass kind of game.
Well,
You're a
I don't-
gamer,
I don't-
it's gonna
though.
I
happen
don't
in
have games on my
It's gonna
phone.
happen in Duskwood, right? And it's gonna have some scary
Probably.
story element to it, which is the quote that they have from the
Scary.
panel. I don't know if we'll see this year. I don't think it's coming anytime soon.
But
But
it's gonna take them so long to build this on their calculator.
They
or
got
whatever.
too many things going on,
Jesus
man.
Christ, Scrap.
I'm sorry. I'm a hater. Watch me love it. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you're
know
gonna
you're gonna love it.
It's gonna have
Yeah.
it's gonna have some kind of transmog for the real game, and you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta get that, and then
it's
you're
not gonna
be
make me
hooked.
love it. I'm just gonna get it and then be like, man, I can't let waste my life on pixels. today."
What kind of hat is Scrap?
It's not gonna
eat
be
this time?
pixels. It's probably gonna be in the WoW art style.
Yeah, pixels.
No,
Polygons,
it
sorry,
100% will be
polygons.
WoW.
Polygons.
Yeah,
engines.
polygons. You know, this. I think probably like a witch hunter aesthetic would be pretty fucking cool because there's not a lot of stuff like that.
What
Like
if they
some
do werewolves,
long
Scrap?
coats.
What if they have a
and-
werewolf game?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
you
like
love
the
Worgans.
Bloodborne kind of
Yeah,
aesthetic.
can I be a
would be
Worgen?
cool. Yeah.
That's
That-
just
No,
normal.
I'm just talking about literal
Worgen
werewolf,
hipster.
like where like 10 people
Yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
together and
like
every night
Van
someone's
Helsing
killed.
type shit. Oh, dude, if this is a werewolf, you know I'm gonna play it, but
If
it's
this
not
is
werewolf.
co-op,
It's
that'd be
shitty
cool.
vampire hunter game.
I love that we've now
I mean,
renamed it Vampire
I'm
Hunter.
sure it'll be co-op.
Co-op. Ugh.
Yeah, actually, is Vampire Survivor in any way multiplayer?
No, there's games. There's a Survivor IO, which is like a really popular phone game that's like exactly that.
The
And you
same
play it,
thing,
you like
yeah.
raid and stuff. There's like a ton of
Same thing.
players. It's the same thing. It looks like this shitty Neopets game.
All right, well,
Good
I guess no one should get excited. Everyone, to just close this out of your
If
mind.
you like phone games, like if you're like a Zoomer and your mom hands you your phone, and you really like that, you know,
Oh
like
my
they're gonna like it.
Closer to like a roguelike hack and slash bullet hell kind of thing. It seems like.
Yeah.
Oh, like
What
was that
Torghast should have been.
Into the Gungeon?
Yeah, Enter
Torghast
the
was
Gungeon.
great, man. I love Torghast.
Actually, Into the Gungeon kind of fire. Like I do like that.
Because you're a gamer.
No,
You're a
I don't.
gamer.
I'm not a gamer. I don't like
You're
games like
100% a gamer.
Let us
No,
know in
you
the
don't
comments
catch me at
below. Is
this.
Scrap a gamer after she's put
Right.
1,600 hours in a
Gamer.
I'm
roller
gonna have
coaster
to, my
tycoon?
my next episode, I'm gonna have to defend all my gamer cred. Like these are all the games I've 100%ed and spent way too many hours on.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Not this shit though.
All right. Let's move on to our final topic of the night. We're actually, knock on wood.
We're good.
Good in time right now.
It's gonna be a short episode, boys.
Okay.
It
This
ain't.
is something that I saw popping up a couple weeks ago, and again, I wrote it down that I wanted to talk about it in a previous episode, but then of course, big things were happening and moved on from it. Resilient keys. Now, from the get-go, what I heard and what I saw was almost everyone unanimously agreed this is a great change. However, over the past 2 to 3 weeks or so, on Twitter mostly, but I've seen it, on Reddit a little bit, there have been a lot of people calling for the resilient key system to go away, to the point where I was reviewing the Mage Discord and just trying, day of the patch when Turbo Boost came out, Turbocharge, and I couldn't get any questions because everyone was just arguing about resilient keys and why they're terrible.
I'm having trouble thinking how we're gonna stretch this topic out because like
We don't need to.
like,
if we
I'm
end the
excited
episode
for
in 2
you.
minutes, let's end it.
But no, I'm really looking forward to like you or whoever wants to make a case that resilient keys are bad because I
gonna try.
can't
I'm gonna
even
try in good faith.
find a reason why people would not like
There-
it. Like
The reason I could tell you
Tell me.
it has to do probably with gatekeeping and people wanting to keep players that shouldn't have resilient 12 or resilient 13 down where they should be.
But
I
they have
guess.
to. So the thing is, like, you have to earn it. Like, it's
Well,
not
okay.
like it's just given to you.
No, but that's not true. That's not true. You can again.
Yeah.
We've given people resilient already, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
we've
Like-
yeah,
talked
like
about
you this week.
If I have resilient 12 scrap and I want my
Fucking
other
hell,
friends to have
Scrap.
resilient 12,
Yep.
I'm going to drag them through over and over again
Or-
my 12 key until they get it,
that. So
But
which
that's
is
fun
something
for
you're good
you.
at.
But you like that.
no, but so here's the thing. Okay, so I thought that's where my mind went to when I first heard this. I was like, oh, really? It's like it's a matter of pride that I got the resilient. Now that other people are getting it, I'm kind of annoyed with it, right?
Okay, how is that different
However,
from anything else in the game?
well, that what I was going to say, Scrap, though, also is like, however, from what I can tell, those are people who are just like, the same kind of people who will get on a stream of Twitch or, say in our comments on YouTube, like, I hate, no one ever takes me into keys. And no one, like the people who are just like not playing at the level of true, point, the 1%ers of gamers, right? The people who are just like not understanding why they're not getting accepted into keys. And like, I thought that's where it's coming from. And it seems that's the case. It's just like, again, as Lithian said, that people gatekeeping for the sake of gatekeeping because they think
Yep.
I'm better and those people shouldn't be at where I'm at, right? However, that's not necessarily the real problem.
No,
sounds
I
like-
got another one.
Okay, what's the other one?
The other one is if you have a resilient 12, you can make a bunch of mistakes and do it over again. And it makes the consequences even less for screwing up.
But think about how many keys you've wasted. Where you take your 12
Scrap.
into
But that's
the
part of
key.
it.
We know
Yeah,
the benefits. Like, let's be clear. We know the benefits of resilient, okay?
I feel like the benefits outweigh any possible
Okay.
the negative of like, oh, it's gatekeeper, whatever. It's like, dude, the second I throw my key in and the fucking DK tank runs in, dies, and leaves, I'm like,
Oh, why is it gotta be a
Well,
DK
because
tank?
it always is a DK
No,
tank. You
VH,
know it is.
VH,
Demon
Scrap.
Hunter.
VH. No,
VH.
in the past it's been DK, but yeah, like
What?
but it has. Dude, was it last season? Yeah, it was last season with the Necrotic Wake. The
fine.
DK
That's
would roll
fine.
in, die, and then instantly rage quit, leave. It's like, okay, I don't have to feel like mega butthurt about that. Go to bed angry because it took me so hard to get this key.
Okay.
Like, It's okay now.
There's
Like,
actually Scrap.
It's okay
There's
now.
actually people advocating for further advancement of the resilient key. I'll get to that in a
I
second.
think it should be down to 10.
Well, yeah,
No,
let's
hold on,
hear
hold on, hold on,
let's
hold
hear
on.
what their arguments are.
So, what I was gathering from the Mage Discord was, and
Oh.
the guide writer Porum for Arcane, he was the one that was making this argument, is that it's creating this toxic environment where, especially with tanks, if they don't get their pulls perfect, they want to start the key over again. And this is
Oh my God.
this is for organized groups. This is for people who like, like let's say for example, E-Team. It'd be like Lithian every time we started doing a 13 resilient Cinder Brew or whatever. He's like, oh, the first room, no, that wasn't perfect. Let's go again. No, that wasn't perfect. Let's go again. And it's like, they're not, the argument that I'm hearing, and this is me inferring it, so I'm not going to necessarily say this is exactly how I understand it, but it's like that they're so worried about getting it perfect because they're worried they won't have the extra 10 seconds at the end of the key.
Yeah.
That if they don't get it perfect, they say, forget it, start over. And they're starting over 6, 7, 8 different times, right?
That sounds like a problem with the tank. Like,
So
attitude,
that was
'cause I
my
haven't
response.
experienced that in pubs.
That was my response, Scrap. Okay.
Yeah.
My response was, well, that sounds like a toxicity for the player, not the system, right?
Yeah.
Lithium.
Right. What did they say to that?
They said that
because that's kind of
it's the system that makes them toxic.
The system was way more toxic
Okay,
when somebody could just roll in, break your key. It's way worse.
literal. I said the literal same thing to them. I said,
let's say
yes,
I have a resilient
I'd
key.
rather have the trade-off of not having someone just completely come in and donkey my key up versus you having a person that you're friends with and you can't have an honest conversation with them about how they're being toxic.
You're asking for protection from somebody who's your friend, bro. Like, what are you
Bro.
talking about? Like, this is my protection. Like, I go into a key, the tank asks, hey, can we start over? I mean, I'm gonna start over, but let's say I'm like, this tank is a donkey. He's out.
Okay,
hold on 1 second.
Okay, go on.
These people in the Mage Discord, are they talking about their groups that they run with, like their personal like push teams? So why don't it's not even like a problem with pugs, it's a problem with a person they know.
Correct.
Yeah, it sounds like they've got beef with the ace guy.
If I go into Cinder Brew and I make that first pull on a 13 or 14 and I biff it, right, and we all die, I'd probably ask, hey, let's just roll it back, right?
No, I know.
And you guys would probably
that's
agree.
fine. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Wait, can I
more
bring
that
up an
they're
anecdote?
doing the pull and it's getting done, but they're like, it wasn't perfect enough.
So hold on.
I don't look for perfection because that's
we
not
also don't run
something our
17s and
group-
18s though.
No, we don't. Yeah.
We
Wait,
don't worry about that.
I have an anecdote actually that kind of pitches to this because I have heard this argument said. So I was trying to get my last 13. It was Priory, I think was actually my last one. And I joined a pug. It was another survival hunter, and the group was all friends. And with peace and love, they were donkeys. But we started over a course of an hour. A lot of you guys were in Discord when this was happening. We started over that 13 like 15 times. Like, and we did not finish it. We went to bed. Like, but literally it was like a joke. It was like we just kept rolling in and the healer would die on the first pull. We did the first pull, like we only got like deep into the dungeon like 2 times or like 15 tries. It was over an hour. I was pissing myself laughing. And I can see, like, I remember you said there was a content creator who mentioned it's like, oh dude, people get sloppy if they know the key's resilient. But the thing is that I didn't have to be there with those people. I was having fun. I could leave. I could push my own key, I could do a different key. But I was like, I want to see this shit out. I want to see if these guys can make it over the finish line.
Run it back.
Like, run it back. And it had the good vibe of like Lithian, we've done our 2-hour plague falls and stuff. This was like the same kind of energy, is that like, dude, we're getting through this together. Now, mind you, we did not. You weren't on, dude. That's why I was pugging, bro. It sucked. But a lot of people, Frank, I think you were in Discord when I was doing that.
There've been actually several times I feel like.
Yeah.
There have been several times where I feel like you've been in a scenario like that where you had a resilient key and things were like, it's okay, let's just go again.
I know with my key, like when my key's resilient, I'm definitely like, this is it's good for the community and stuff because I'm taking weirdos. Like I'm taking people who have low score. I'm taking people who have messaged me, like who I like weird classes and stuff because I know that like okay.
Why do they gotta be weirdos?
They always are, bro. They always are. But I know that if we mess up the first one and I see they're all doing pretty good, I'd be like, cool. But like sometimes it's like I can see who the problem is. It's like, okay, that guy's got to go, and I'll just get another one. Like,
all right. So Io, you want to say something?
Yeah, to bring it back real quick. So when you said oh, it seems like it's a problem with the player in your group. What did they say back to that? Was it just was there any further
it was such a
discourse there?
chaotic it was such a chaotic conversation. Now I will say that the majority of people were advocating for it because they said, no, I'm having the best time ever, yada yada yada.
Mhm.
But I do want to give context from something that I've been through, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. About I joined I think it was a 12 Cinder Brew, and the DK, he was an unholy DK, had a resilient 12 for Cinder Brew, and I get in there, and I think we had a Vengeance Demon Hunter as the first tank. The first pull doesn't go that well, and he immediately goes, "Fuck this guy," kicks the tank, and says, "Don't worry, I got resilient. We'll go again." Okay.
I've had that happen in a pug. I've seen that. In
Okay.
before.
Okay.
That's
But
messed
I was
up.
like, I'm always like sick. They didn't kick me out. You know?
No, but here's the thing. So they get a prot warrior, and I think you'll remember this when I tell you this part of the story. They got a prot warrior, and they go, "Hey, can we get your route?" Perfectly fine. Prot warrior puts the route up, and the guy. No, the guy goes, "Oh, well, hey, can you merge pull one in?" Because the DK wanted essentially more than the whole I'd say like 3/4 of the whole front of the room pulled at once. Because he believed that's what needed to be done to get the key timed. And so he asked the prot warriors, like, "Hey, can you merge your pull 1 and 2 together?" And the prot warrior goes, "Yeah, I probably can do that. Let me look at it real quick." And immediately kicked him and said, "Fuck that guy," right?
I've been in an identical situation to this.
But here's the thing. Like, I totally get that. That is, and I left the group after that because I said, "Dude, fuck you," and I just left, right?
Dude, I want to see where this is going.
No,
You're insane.
No, I did not want to encourage that behavior at all. But it wasn't the resilient, like, I want the person that has that key to have the freedom to be in control of their key, even if it means we'll have more toxic people as a result, because I don't want that freedom taken away from me when I have the Vantage Demon Hunter come in and take a stupidly big pull in a pug where they're not talking to anyone, and then immediately leave my key 3 times over, dropping me from a 12 to 11 to a 10 to a 9, because they just think I'm an MDI player. In fact, me and Haywire, like, we got my last my Priory 13 with a Vengeance Demon Hunter who was pulling like that. Like, he was pulling MDI style pulls, but like not communicating with us, not telling, like, "Hey, this is what I want you to kick, this is what," and we were wiping, right? And luckily it was his key. He was, again, being really aggressive, but he also was very understanding that if it didn't go very well, that's okay, and we will just start over. Now, luckily, this was this week, and it was in the middle of the turbocharge event, so like we were crushing DPS, and it was going to be fine anyways. But I think that, like, there's too many people out there, especially tanks, who think that they're MDI players in a pug, right? It's one thing to pull like that in a group that you know. It's another thing to just come into a pug, not say anything, and then pull the entire front room of Necrotic Wake. And then get upset when you get insta-shotted within a millisecond, right?
Haywire yells at me, man.
No, but
he sends me messages. He's mad. So my my point out of that was, like, I've been in a scenario, albeit one, and it was, you know, very anecdotal. But like, I'd rather be, "Hey, fuck you. I don't want anything to do with you," and I'll go find another group. Now, that's obviously easier said than done at levels where you're doing 18, 19, 20 keys, right? I get that. Yeah.
However, this is someone that you play with regularly. It's the equivalent of me saying to Lithian, like, "Lithian, I love you, bud. I know you want to do this, but you got to stop because it's driving me up the wall." If you say no, Lithian, I'm going to say, "Okay, that's fine. You want to play the game you want to play. I don't want to do that anymore. Let me move on."
You're not going to go complain on the Mage Discord that they need to take Resilient away because your asshole friend Lithian is making you sad? That's fucking crazy.
Could you imagine, though? Like,
I don't think we would be in that situation.
No, I don't.
I agree.
As most people in the 12, 13, and 14s won't be anyways, right?
Yeah.
No. I think what people are doing is, like, the world first 20, right? When they were posting those videos and I saw Yodas go up and whatever, and like, those are videos people want to be able to post, but you can't post those videos if you don't have, like, the perfect run, because that's such a hard key to obtain this season. So
no, but even then, like, it's I feel like if you're at that level where you're trying to push into the 19s and they, you know, whatever, 20s, the world's of the top 0.1%, you still would rather be in a scenario where, even if that were the case where your tank is making you do the first pull 6 times in a row, and let's say arguably wasting what, 5 minutes per pull at most. So maybe 30 minutes total. It's still better than the inverse of where you were about to
You gotta go
time
down
this
a whole
19
key.
and then
Yeah.
you lost the key by 20 seconds or whatever. And now you're starting at the 18 on a different key that you didn't even have to begin with, right? So you have to
That
go
might
back to
be
a dungeon.
harder, depending. Like you might have had the easy key for the 19, and then you're stuck
Yeah.
with the hard key for the 18.
So like I just don't get it. And this is again, I think it's a very small minority of opinion that this is a bad thing. But the two examples that I gave I hear that is actually it's just one, but the one example I hear of why I actually think we should move resilient up to where you're currently working as opposed to where you fall, like what you've.
No, I think that would be bad.
So here's why. So this is the example that was given in the bench podcast.
Because then you wouldn't be like competent enough to get it necessarily. No,
but
like
that's scrap. Imagine if every time we were on Gallywix or Mugsy,
yeah.
right? So we're doing Mugsy, and every time we die to him, we have to go back and kill one-armed bandit.
Yeah.
You'd be okay with that system?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like every week we restart the raid. Like
We don't
I
have
think
to.
it's that
We
different.
don't have to.
I don't mind it.
Like, I don't have all
Scrap.
my
Hold on,
13s
hold on. There's a
But-
difference
Yeah,
between
'cause
reclear and there's.
I don't think she understands.
We
what
play
you're
No, no.
Mugsy
saying.
50 times, okay?
Yeah.
We go up to him for the first time, we make a pull, and it's literally a 10-second pull because we don't know something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're okay with us going backwards to one-armed bandit, killing him for 5 minutes,
the difference
and then
is
coming back
that
and then wiping 12 seconds into the second pull.
no, I think it's different. I think it's different, like between a raid boss and Mythic Plus.
It
Because
is
think about
different,
what people
obviously.
are complaining. Think about what people are complaining about for Resilient right now. Like the first grievance was that like, oh, people who are getting Resilient 12 are getting carried through it by their friends who already have Resilient 12. So people who have already done all the 12s,
Sure.
are helping them. But like if it was in their hands, it would make it so much easier. I mean, they could just keep throwing that 12 in the queue until they get a group that carries them over and over, their own 12. Whereas like right now there's a bit of a barrier for entry. And I actually like the way the system is for pushing, because it's like I've done all my 13s, I've got a handful of 14s done. Like if I want to get that 14, I got to push up to 13. But what I'm not having is the key dropping down to a 12, 11, 10.
Okay.
It's never going to be lower than a 13.
Okay, I'll give you another example. You're playing Mario, right? Mario World.
Don't give
every
me
time you
examples.
die
you can throw
on that
examples. Tell me wow.
No, because
Like, I
every
don't
time
think
you
it's
die on
fair.
that
Don't
level,
give me
you
examples.
have to go back and do the last level. Oh, and by the way, if you died on that level, you have to go to the level before that. And like, no, that's not how gameplay works.
Think about
right?
it in real life. If like, oh, you like go out and get in a car accident, you have to go redo a level. Like, I don't. What are you talking about?
That's not
I'm
an
just-
example, Scrap. What are you talking about?
I can't
What
think
are
of an example. But I'm just
What are you
saying.
talking about?
I think the system works well for Mythic Plus. I think
disagree.
right now it's like you can get the keys that you need to push.
No, but let me ask you this, Scrap. Is the reason why you like Mythic Plus is because there is a punishment if you don't get it right? Or is it
Yes.
because you want to challenge yourself to get it right?
I
The
think
punishment is you go back to your resilient level and you have to go up one more. To
Yeah.
Oh,
start
by the way,
pushing.
it's a different dungeon, right?
yeah,
So-
but you
okay,
can
so here's the scenario, Scrap.
never get knocked below, which is how it was before. This is like a
I
significantly
know.
better
It's
change.
of
Yeah.
course significantly better. There's no
Yeah.
question on that. However, what I'm saying though is I think the better gameplay loop is I don't want to have to. Okay, we're trying to push 13 Cinder with your Resilient 12, or well, you have Resilient 12, but we have a 13 Cinder. Okay, we
Mhm.
do the first pull, it goes poorly. Ugh, okay, let's go
Yep.
to the 12 Dark Flame Cleft. That's okay. That one's easy. It'll be fine. 35 minutes later, right? We get another 13. Oh, but it's 13 Priory,
something else.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Priory's hard too. Okay, well, Haywire doesn't have that. Let's do that. 20 minutes into that key,
I feel like
a big
it's-
wipe happens. Oh, guess
Yeah.
what? Go back to the 12 Dark Flame. Okay, fine.
I don't mind that gameplay loop because
We've just spent an hour and a half and made zero progress on the thing you care about, which is your 13 Cinderbrew.
yeah, but I feel like if you could get a resilient of whatever you're pushing, it pretty much just rewards people who have indefinite time, because it's like you can just keep throwing it at the wall
No,
until you get the point.
No, because it would be less time consuming if that were the case, because you wouldn't have to keep going back to the 12.
No, Yeah, but if you're, let's say you're a poor player and you deserve to go back to the 12, right? Like,
Well,
Yeah,
deserving.
she's saying
No. See, that's the thing. Deserving is a very loose word there because we just talked about the VDH tank that comes
well,
in
it's
and
a group. It's a
deservingly
group
fucks your
effort,
key
right?
up.
Yeah, but I mean, it's I feel like there has to be that risk of
You get in a
losing
car
it.
accident and you better go back to the DMV. You're gonna go back a level.
Exactly. You gotta go back a level. That's what I'm talking about. This makes sense. Stop saying stuff that doesn't make sense,
No,
Frank. You're crazy.
I think
I would be okay with this change if they did that.
Scrap.
I think that'd be all right. But
I don't
Elden
like
Ring.
it.
You're playing Elden Ring.
Oh,
I
no.
understand.
No,
I
you don't.
use Elden Ring.
No, you
understand the
don't.
concept.
No, you don't.
Yes.
No, you don't.
Elden Ring.
Every time you attempt a boss in Elden Ring, you die. You have to go back and do another boss.
That's fine because I'm good at the game. I have no problem
Oh
with
my
the,
God.
with the boss.
What?
Which is the same as with the key. Like, I'm
Which is
not
the same
having
with
a
WoW.
problem.
Hey, do you want me
I'm
to
not
post
having a
all
problem.
your logs real quick?
Yeah, post all my logs.
Yeah, all the third places you've had.
Oh my god. Speaking of which,
Awesome.
this isn't our
Yeah.
last topic, by the way.
It is
Oh,
our last. What's the last topic?
Oh, that's right. We do have
The
one
la-
more, but that'll be quick. That'll be quick.
We got
Yeah.
one more.
Yeah, we do have one more too.
I would be surprised. I'm shocked that people would support, like, you can have resilient of whatever you're pushing. Like, it.
Scrap. I'll link it to you for tomorrow to listen to. But again, this guy, his name is Farfa. He's usually a Magic the Gathering, right? I think it was Magic the Gathering. No, Yu-Gi-Oh. He's a Yu-Gi-Oh player, but he came to WoW and he just like makes a really good. He dissects the three like Tettles, Squishy, and Growl, and just says like, guys, this is an insane gameplay loop. Why are you punishing people, especially since he's like, I think like a father of three or something, like I am. It's like, I don't want to spend half of my night, if not longer, trying to clean up the mistake that, again, maybe I didn't even make, because I had a resilient 12 instead of a resilient 13 or whatever it may be, right? Because the gameplay loop should be push as high as you can, right? There is punishment still that if you were to, like, let's say not time the key, it changes to a different key. So you don't get to do that one again away.
I bet people will leave right before the last second of it all the time to keep their key in their bag.
Well,
we're not gonna time it. I'm out.
That's an agency that you give to the players to play the way they want. That's fine.
I guess I'm comparing it. I know this is totally different, but so are your examples. But like if you're doing the arena gameplay loop, like
perfect.
they're totally different. But I'm just saying, let's say you're playing arenas, right? If you fail, your score goes down.
Good point.
You know?
So
that's a different kind of game, though.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna show
all the games. So is Mario.
No.
Wait, what's your ranking in Mario, Scrap? What's your ranking in Mario?
I can't remember all the things that you said. I'm just saying
you just brought up arena. You just brought up arena. You lose MMR in arena.
Yeah,
rank it in
IO if you didn't time a key. That'd be crazy.
I'm saying that would be crazy, but I think that the equivalent of like having to go back is.
I'm gonna scream.
I think
Frank's gonna scream.
I'm not supporting that you should lose like points, but I feel like in arena, like it's like you lose points and you have to get back to the point you were at.
I love the idea that you think you shouldn't lose points, but you should lose all your time. What's more detrimental?
By losing points, you do lose time because you have to get back to that point where you're pushing again.
Exactly, but in this case, I'm not seeing people who are out there who should be punished for the VDH doing the stupid VDH things, because that would make a benefit to me as a player knowing that they're losing score because they're dickheadery, right? They wouldn't leave the group if they were going to lose the IO.
Wait, you support losing score?
Gamer words.
I would say.
Well, you would lose score if you leave because that's how every game that has score is.
What I'm saying is I don't support it, but don't take that message. What I'm saying though is if we were to punish, losing the score to me would be better than losing the time of having to go and re-clear a key, right? Now again, let's be clear. Resilient in general solves a big part of that problem, right? I just don't think it's enough because there is still this idea that, again, Farfa and myself, we get on at 9 o'clock. I'm trying to go to bed early, right? I'm not trying to do the 3 a.m. keys with you anymore. And so I say, hey, 12 o'clock is my cutoff. I come in, you do donkey shit. I lose my 13 keys, so great. Let's go back and do the 12. Okay, it's now 10:15. I say, cool, now I've got a 13 floodgate. I don't need that, but whatever. Let's run it again, get it bumped up to a 14. Cool, now I've got a 14 Cinderbrew. Okay, I want that. I'll drop it to a 13, and then we start the first pull, and Lithian's monitor turns off and he goes, oops, I died and everything fucked. Guess what? Now you have a 12 dark.
I feel
My
like
entire night
I
has
think,
accomplished nothing.
I think my issue is that like I don't have this pressure on it where it's like, well, next week we're all gonna get keys and maybe we'll get the one that we need. You know, it's like the season is very long. You know, eventually you're gonna push to the point where you can push and maybe just like a little bit past that, right? Like
You get
maybe
a
you can
turbo
get
boost?
lucky.
So, okay, I
Yeah,
want to be clear.
but maybe you get lucky, right?
No, I want to be clear. So you're saying that the reason why they should do this is to drag the season out as long as it can?
Well, you said, for example, you framed it like, oh, like I whiffed 3 keys, I gained 0 points, the night was wasted. To me, I'm like, oh, I did 3 keys and it was fun. Like that should be
So
inherently valuable.
To you, it is fun to have to go kill one-armed bandit
I
again.
don't have to do anything. I'm
Yes,
just playing
you
the game.
do. You do.
No, I just-
Eventually, even
I
if
don't have to
they
get the points.
even if they put this system in place, eventually you're going to get to a point where you got to be a good player along with the other good players in your group to be able to clear that key. So it's not like you could just run keys forever no matter how much time you have. If you're terrible at the game, there's no way you're going to get carried through some of the higher keys.
Yeah. It would obviously move up people in IO cuz like we're not going to be able to do 21s. We're not going to be able to do 17s probably, let's just say, right?
Yeah.
But like I would move up to maybe 14s and 15s quicker because I wouldn't have to waste so much time. Sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, as someone who recently got Resilient 12, it's kind of useless to me. Like, I don't really run. Well, I don't really run my own key, but even if I did, like,
I mean, 12s.
I wouldn't have really a motivation to even really use it unless like it was to help a friend get one. And that's the only time I've really ever benefited from Resilient keys is when a friend of mine was like, "Oh, hey, you need a 13 for 3K. Yeah, let's do my mother load. It's a 13." And hold on, I'm not done, Scrap.
Go on.
And then we wipe the first pull, and then we get to do it again. It's like, oh, cool! I got my 13. I got my 3K. It didn't really help her out that she used her key, but it helped me out. So yeah, I think it's dumb that it's the level below. I think it should be the level. I think when you get like all 12s, you progress to the next one. The system of Mythic Plus is progression. It obviously in the past was about dropping down and dropping back up, but I think the players have all spoken and kind of want it to be a more progressive system. So I don't think you need to. I get why maybe they were being a little more conservative the first time through, but I think it's okay to maybe try it one up and see how that works.
Well, the benefit is to the solo pugger, right? Like if I'm pugging my key, like I've been in many situations where I'm solo pugging my own key and like let's say I need a 13 and it gets knocked down to a 12 and it gets knocked down to 11, it gets knocked down to a 10, it gets knocked down to a 9, like because of just like circumstances and stuff. At this point my key is protected that I'm always
we're
guaranteed.
Not arguing that.
Yeah, we don't want it to get knocked down at all. We don't want it to get knocked down at all.
I think that you have enough of a benefit. You're like, oh, a 12, a resilient 12 is useless to me. Hold on, let me see. He was saying that a resilient 12 feels useless to him to have because he's not getting any points off of 12. But a resilient 12 means you're guaranteed a 13.
No,
you just
what
have
he's
to
saying is he's not going to run his key. That's why it's useless. Instead of running his 12 to get to a 13 and then so on and so forth, he's just going to go pug into someone else's resilient 13.
Let's say you struggle to get into a pug, like maybe you're playing a poor class and you have to resort
like a survival hunter,
and like you have to resort to pugging your key. A lot of people have that problem.
Scrap, who got resilient 13 first?
I did, but I pugged my own key. That's how I got it.
No. You pugged other people's keys, right?
Well, I did sometimes, like, but I did a combination.
Scrap.
No, honestly,
give
when
me a ratio.
Hold on, Frank. When I first finished my Resilient 12, I had maybe 113 done. I pushed that 12 up and down because no matter what 13 I got, there was a good chance I was going to have it timed. I only started pugging when I only needed 2 left. Otherwise, I was just kind of jumping my 12 up and down, which is what, like, if I was a total solo player, that's what I would be doing because it's like, if I have that 12 in my bag,
And you're telling me that gameplay loop is better than just having your 13?
Well, I enjoy that gameplay loop because it's like I'm still refining the skills that I need.
Tell us what is fun about that loop.
I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game.
You can play the game at the 13. Why not play it at the 13?
It's not about the game. Like, the game is fun.
Scrap. That's like saying it's okay to go back to one-armed bandit because I'm still playing the game.
Yes,
you're right. It is exactly like saying that.
I'm playing the game, guys.
What I'm saying is that, like,
Everything you're
but
saying fits into that same exact mold.
I'm saying a lot of times when a 13 isn't timed, like maybe I didn't exactly, or like in this case, I'm gonna say 14 because like I'm Brazilian 13. This is like
Yeah.
applicable now, right? Like if a 14
Oh,
isn't
man.
timed, there are things that I could have done better, even if it wasn't directly my fault. And I'm honing those skills in the 13s. I'm not
You
honing
can
them in the
hone
14s.
those skills in the 14 scrap.
But maybe I'm not ready for the 14s. Maybe I need to keep honing it in the 13s.
Sure,
And so then I
so-
build the skills in the
Yeah,
13s.
but you can
So now you're
progress.
gatekeeping. Now you're gatekeeping by saying you can't come into the 14 until you get it right in the 13.
Yeah, way to gatekeep
You-
yourself.
you-
Oh, by the way, it's a
don't-
roll of the dice every time you roll one of those 13s.
I'm saying that this is a
Gatekeep
natural
yourself.
gatekeep myself. I'm saying that this feels natural to me. This is a much better system than it already was. I feel like the
it's
system's fine.
because it's the way you've always done
Yes, you've
it.
been
And
conditioned
now
to
it's
this.
time.
But Frank, we
It's
just
time
we
to
spent the
progress.
first half of this segment talking about how people are bitching about it, and you want to make it more like to the things they're complaining about.
More.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't look, I don't care that your friend is a shithead who says I have to do this perfectly or else we got to do it again. Because my
Yeah.
argument would be, even if that were this like the scenario where the person who's saying we need to run it again is technically right, I'd say, hey, look, we like done this 3 times now. Let's just keep going and see how close it is anyways to gather more. You know, we need more practice on the 3rd boss anyways. We need more practice on this anyways, right? Let's just keep
Right.
going. And by the way, don't worry, it's not going to drop down because what these people are talking about is they're doing it like, let's say 16, 17 Brazil, right?
Mhm.
They have Brazilian 16. They're doing this on the 16 version of the key that they've already timed. They don't want to be doing that in a 16. They want to be doing it in a 17.
I could be open maybe at like the 15 level.
God.
You get this or something. This is for the people who are like really pushing. But I
man.
feel like I don't think this is beneficial to the average person's gameplay.
I could be
Okay.
open at.
Why would it be detrimental to the
Building
average person's
Bigger
gameplay?
game for
I
herself.
said I don't think it'd be.
I know,
well,
you said beneficial.
oh,
I'm saying
yeah.
why would it not be detrimental? Like how would it hurt the player to change the system?
By the time
I-
they get up to 15, what Scrap is saying is by the time they get up to 15,
They know
they're
their shit.
serious.
they're
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah,
they're good.
serious. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I'm
But-
kind of, I don't want to lean on the criticisms that I shit all over at the beginning of the discussion, but like I think that there could be merit to those issues of that
Oh my
like
God.
people are timing keys by just throwing darts at the wall, and eventually their dart will hit a bullseye, and then
Scrap
you know
saying
Scrap.
but I'm saying
Scrap-
from my perspective, if I'm trying to pug out my key, you know, and I'm looking at people who have this high score, I mean, that's the only thing I have to go on,
Is
right?
it
Like
fair
that
to
they have this
say
score.
that you've killed an Elden Ring boss by throwing darts at the dartboard?
Yes. Yes,
So,
I have.
Oh my
Why
gosh.
is it okay for that gameplay loop in
It's a
Elden Ring
different
Dark Souls?
game. It's a different
Oh my
game.
God. It's not
Like-
it's not a different game theory, Scrap.
It
The
is a different
theory
game
still
theory.
applies across
It's a
every
different-
single game. Tell me
Let
one
me tell
game
you.
where you play it and you don't complete the level, they send you the level before.
I've
Dark
watched
Souls
Scrap.
low-key, because like you lose if you die, you lose your levels. Like you lose your
I've
experience.
watched
Yes, but
Scrap
you can
do an
still go
Elden
back
Ring
to the
boss like
Yeah.
17 times in a row until she finally got it,
So
right?
in the new ones, like Elden Ring and stuff, like yeah, but like in Dark Souls 2, sometimes you would have like
By
a
the way,
45-minute walk to
Can
get
you
to the
Yeah.
imagine?
boss.
By the way, can you
Like-
imagine that every time you like wiped on a 14 or whatever, that you lost some of your eye level?
Brother, Frank, in
Oh my
Dark Souls
God.
2, when
No,
you would die, you would permanently lose your health bar until
in
you were
EverQuest-
half health.
In EverQuest back in the day, you go on a raid, you could lose 2 levels in that raid.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was rough
Didn't
back
Diablo
then.
Yeah.
2 have that same system where like if you went and tried to push or whatever, you'd lose?
I don't
if
play
you-
that game.
Because
Anyways,
there's
point is
precedence
this-
for this, for
No, but
losing
that's not, no,
levels.
but Scrap. That's the difference. It's one thing if you want to say you lose IO. That makes sense, right? Because it's
Yeah.
a system of being able to balance your skill throughout. But that doesn't happen in this system, right?
I
Because
feel like you need to do both. Like if you give resilient to everything you're
Scrap,
pushing, you
scrap.
need to
I'm
lose
with you on
IO
that.
also.
well, here's
Yeah.
the thing though. You
Scrap.
wouldn't because resilient would
Hold
stop
on.
you from doing that.
Scrap.
Okay.
Ayasuki
What?
has an opinion.
Go on, IO.
Oh no, I didn't have anything to say. I was gonna say something before you guys started talking about the older games. I was gonna say the only time you ever died in a game and went back was in the days of the arcades when they wanted to take your money. But
Yeah,
they
like
kinda don't do
original
it like that anymore.
Metroid, you die, you
Yep.
have to start all the way back at the
But,
beginning.
I was thinking when you guys
Wonderful
were talking
gameplay
about
loop,
that,
by the
like,
way.
what if they did like a lives thing on a keys, like you get like 3 goes, if not then it
Okay, that I
Depletes
could
the
I
I
would
could
support that.
But
Yeah, I support
but
that.
the thing is, right? Like that still is in the vein of the better gameplay loop is the idea that I'm pushing, not that I'm cleaning
Right.
up my mistake, right?
Right.
I'm okay with 3 lives. I think we can compromise there.
Now-
You get 3 shots at it. If you don't get it in 3 shots, go back to 12s.
Okay.
Right. On to the next one.
So
Yeah.
the
Do
other
not
reason
collect $200.
the
like-
other reason why people hate resilient keys is because there are people out there who are posting their key, let's say resilient 14 of Cinderbrew or whatever, and they're saying for every attempt you get on their resilient key, you have to tip them 20K or whatever, right?
I wouldn't
Yeah, I
do
saw
that.
that.
Like
I
I just
know.
wouldn't join that key.
So like I get that. I see it. I go, that's such toxic fucking behavior. But what I would just simply say is you don't have to engage with it, right? Like
just simply do not go to that key.
you
Like
just,
Yeah.
you, just
it's really
you
the
find their
economy.
name and you say ignore and never see them again.
I've
Like,
also literally never seen that advertised in a pug, and
I
I'm
have,
probably
I have.
pugging.
I have.
Okay, you have
you'd see
maybe
it in the
because I was
sign-up, Scrap. You'd
pugging
see it in the
earlier
sign-up.
in the season, like, and
Oh
it
my
wasn't as
God, here we
prevalent.
go.
People having
It
resilient.
usually says tips appreciated.
Really?
Yes.
I'm gonna
funny.
start listing my key, bro. All these new
There you
people
go.
in 12s, like they're gonna want to get up to 13s. I'm gonna start listing it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
this is
don't
I put a tweet out there to try to get like some perspective, and this is Amber Sulfur said like the long and short of it is that we're violating this idea that there's this competitive bracket for title as an example, and because you can gain IO and you can't lose it, it doesn't make it necessarily as competitive as an MMR would be for Arena example. And so they're saying like, look, if you want to do resilient keys like we would want, IO and I as an example, like you have to remove this idea that there's this like top of the mountaintop where only so many people get this reward. I can understand that, like you're worried that people are gonna essentially sneak into rank 1 title because they have friends that will push them into the 16 resilience or whatever.
I'm not worried about if they want to do that. I'm okay with that. What I don't want is for me
Yeah,
to try
but-
to plug out my key and I see people with high score and they get in and they play like donkeys because that happens now. That happened
already,
last
like-
season.
But that's
Yeah.
happening
happened season
already,
before.
Scrap. So why
Boost-
why
I
stop?
think it's gonna be worse. I think it's gonna be worse if this happens. Like
I don't.
If you want to get title, you can just pay somebody real
exactly.
money or gold and
Yeah.
get it that way too. So I
Yeah.
mean, there's other ways to
No,
do it.
and this is the way I look
Fair
at it. Let's
if
say
people
let's say
work
that
hard to
wasn't the
get title.
case. Let's say that wasn't the
You
case,
know-
right? That still doesn't
Yeah.
matter because at the end of the day, I don't want to let what is it, 3,000 people that get this title. I don't want to let the 300 people who are affected by this restrict why the other 300,000 people who are doing the 12s and 13s or whatever don't get their resilient push, and they have to do the extra homework because of it.
Yeah, and also to her point, I mean, if everyone gets the system, the people who have title are just going to be that much higher than everybody else because they're
Yeah.
going to have the
Yeah,
they're gonna
opportunity to
keep. They're
push
gonna
the
keep
keys
pushing.
even higher.
But
Yeah.
you know what's going to happen is it's going to it's going to make those tier lists even worse because it's like then you really are like going to have to, that tiny little bit of extra something of bringing
No,
this class
no,
instead of that class
no.
is going to
Well,
be even
no,
more.
no.
No, Scrap,
aren't
because
gonna
that
get picked
already
anymore.
exists in the 13s and 14s. The only difference is now the resiliency just means that I can throw myself at it as much as I want, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I could play a blood DK even though it's not the meta tank as much as I want because I'm
You're more
plugging my
likely to
own key.
succeed it because you have
Well,
the
you're a
chance to
tank. You
practice
get in any
it.
key you want anyway. So
Oh my god!
Well, Frank, you know what's bothering me right now? That person follows you and you haven't hit the follow back button. That's
you don't
just
follow
rude.
back. You're not doing Twitter right, bro. You gotta always follow back. What the fuck? No wonder you don't have any followers.
Scrap, I
That
will
was-
be the first to admit I'm not doing Twitter right.
Yeah, Io, get your man, dude. He's not following
I-
back.
I am
You know,
so
I
bad
follow
at it.
Amber Sulfur.
You do follow them?
You
See,
see,
I'm
now-
gonna-
now Frank
I was
does
a
too.
slut on Twitter. He follows
I-
everyone.
Dude, that's how you play Twitter,
I
man.
know.
You
Scrap,
gotta
Scrap. I
play
don't
Twitter
care.
correctly.
I don't care.
give this person who put out a well thought out response a follow, please. Look at how much.
Thank
They
you.
got a blue check mark, dude.
Look at all the
I don't even know
work
what
they
that
put into
means.
this response.
that
Like
they
this
pay
person.
Means they
$10
paid
a month. Don't
How
worry.
much money do you have
Don't
to
worry.
pay for that?
IO pays.
How much
click
is
them,
it?
follow.
I don't even remember.
Oh, cool
Is it
icon.
a
right?
one-time-
Oh, look,
is
you're
it a
not
one-time
verified
fee?
yet.
Dude,
No,
Frank,
I'm
you
not.
get verified
I'm
dog.
not paying for it. Look, they're gonna fucking
I-
charge me.
You're the
Look at
real
this
NBL
shit.
Frank.
It's
$7 a
bullshit.
month.
Frank's Twitter roast.
Ridiculously stupid.
No wonder
Wow.
nobody's
I
seeing
don't
your
use-
post.
I don't
dude.
use
You're
this platform.
blacklisted.
All right.
Yeah, me
Anyways,
either.
look, this Liquid guy is not even verified. He knows
You
what's up.
follow Barack Obama, but not whatever Amber, whatever.
Amber Sulfur.
Wow.
Yeah. How did I
Amber
miss?
Sulfur.
How did I mix that up?
Barack Obama doesn't even write his own tweets. He's got like a guy who does
oh my
that.
God, scrap.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's really
let's
Twitter.
not let's
Yeah.
not go too far into that.
Anyways,
Glittering.
Yep.
sorry, you had something to say?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
I take it
All right.
back.
Let's
All
wrap up.
been said.
Let's wrap up with this week's raid where we did our traders
Yeah.
game. All right. So
Yeah.
um,
Let's do a recap, maybe.
just so everyone remembers, what we did is we had 20 raiders sign up. Sorry, I'm just trying to write down to make sure that I put B-roll up. We had 20 people sign up, not including myself and Lithian as tanks. And we did a game. If you've seen the show Traitors, it's also a lot like Werewolf. If you've ever played that card,
Or Blood on the Clock Tower is another one.
Yeah,
or Mafia. They're all Among Us, like
Among
social
Us, yeah.
deduction game.
I think we got it.
So
Not everybody. Somebody's
Among
gonna be
Us-
like,
Among
I don't
Us
know
would've
any of
been a good
these, and then they're
example,
gonna.
just
I would say Among Us, and they'll be like, oh, Among Us.
So
I'm helping.
anyways,
Taylor.
what would happen is every time we killed a boss, the group would have a round table where they had to vote off someone that they thought was, in this case, a traitor. So after that would happen, we'd start cleaning the trash, and while we were cleaning the trash, the traitors would kill someone off in the raid. And one by one, we just kind of whittled our raid down to Scrap and another person stuck around afterwards just to keep helping and DPSing, but they were muted and they couldn't talk to anyone. But we were down to effectively like what was 8 people plus the 2 tanks, so it was like a really small raid.
Oh yeah.
So before we go into the results, I want to say that whenever I've seen this game played, Werewolf, Among Us, Traitors, the show, usually you'll see a traitor being caught, midway through the season. They make a mistake, right? And then by the end of the season, when the last round table is going down, there's usually probably one left. Scrap, tell us about how our traders rated.
So we had 20 people,
Yep.
and there were 3 traders, and we didn't know how many traders there were. And the last 4 people alive were 3 traders and 1 survivor. The villagers or the faithfuls did not point the finger at a single traitor correctly.
Why, Scrap? Why? What happened?
So I in the same way I'm very commanding on the podcast. I tend to rule a room, I tend to talk, and I'm very paranoid. Like I was for sure making reads and things that I thought for sure these people were traitors. And I pointed the finger incorrectly every time. And then eventually they were like, every time I'm like, I'm for sure it's this guy, I'm for sure. Everybody votes with me, whatever. Eventually they're like, okay, Scrap's gotta go. If she's not a traitor, she is steering us so wrong. I was a faithful, but they killed me. And then the 2 people on my deathbed who I said, no, it's definitely this guy and this guy. The next 2 rounds they were voted off, and they were also both faithful. So I may have.
It was so hard. It was so hard to just watch. Like I knew who the traitors were, and it was just so hard to watch this happen.
I'm not good at social deduction.
You were so bad. They just had to say nothing and let you create something out of nothing.
I was seeing things happening around me. Like I thought that maybe we didn't know the full extent of the game, and we still don't know what the traders were doing and stuff.
What's the rogue that you thought tried to kill you?
So I thought maybe the traders, because the traders were benefited greatly by completing bosses. Every time they completed a boss, they got more money in the pool. So I thought maybe there were also secret tasks where they had to kind of subtly mess with the raid to kind of there be like a given pull. So I was looking for anybody acting sus, like you do in Among Us or Werewolf. You're looking for that sus behavior, right? So Deadpool accidentally walked on top of me, and I literally like crucified him. I was like, he tried to kill me. He tried to kill me, and then the concentrate did try to kill me. He scripted me into a beam, like verifiably. And Ziggler went back. He checked the logs. He was like, he did do that. I was like, he's trying to kill me. Like I was losing my mind. I had so much fun. I love this game you put on.
It was a great game.
Yeah, and I hope we do it again.
We will do it again.
I was.
But I don't think I've ever seen a game of Werewolf played that poorly in my life. So it's awesome.
So let's talk about some highlights, okay? So we actually slammed through the raid despite the fact that we were losing people left and right.
Yeah, we did.
I was very happy to hear that. I was like, when I made this, I was like, a lot of people don't always talk in Discord when we're doing this stuff. You know, they're just here for the ride. And I was very happy to hear that when the round table started, because you would light the match that would start the fire, people would start getting way more involved with, well, hold on a second, you know, like you said, Zesty pulling up the logs and saying, hey, no, he did do that, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, that was really fun to watch that kind of unfold. It wasn't as fun watching you guys completely point fingers at all the wrong people for all the wrong reasons. But okay.
Oh.
The good news is that because you guys were so bad at it, I had all these wild cards saved as, like, you know, reasons why something would happen. And I didn't have to use a single one of them because you guys couldn't fucking find, like, you couldn't get your way out of garbage.
One traitor. One traitor.
One of my favorite parts is at the end where like we were just like the faithful were voting people off, and it was Zigla and the 3 traitors. Zigla was still like, "Well, it must be Haywire." Like, he was still playing the game, and then the 3 of them were like, I think the game's over, dude. You're the last faithful person alive." But he was still playing.
Haywire was like, "Yep, I'm a traitor."
So
what are you gonna do about it?
I let them continue to
So
vote
funny.
because I thought maybe they would turn on each other to try to get bigger part of the prize pool. But they were broing out. They said, dude, we're so good at this. We're just all going to take the money and be happy. But I'm going to, like, here's the good news. Okay, so first and foremost, if you want to play the next Traders game, join our Discord. You can find us at mythicdungeonleague.com. I can't wait till Lithian finally rebuilds our new version of this site one day. Join the Discord because we will put the signups there. And it was... Again, we put on all sorts of events, and there are some that work and some that don't. I was worried this one might be a little too much, but you guys, once you saw it in action, really threw yourselves into it. So that was awesome. It was really fun, and I had a great time doing it. I can't wait to do it again, and I have all sorts of tricks up my sleeve that we can make it more difficult for the traders for sure. But given that Scrap's going to be in that raid, I'm sure she will do whatever she can by accident to destroy everything faithful in that group.
Well, maybe they'll be smart enough to kill me early, because even by the time they were like, okay, Scrap needs to go, I was like, I need to go. Like, that's so badly. Like, I'm like, I've led you astray every time. So yeah, it was a really fun time, and again, we'll probably do one maybe right at the end of the season, right before the next patch. We need to do more than that. I remember at the end of it, you were like, I gotta get the money together, and everybody was clamoring, well, you don't have to put money online. You don't have to put money. We'll do it.
I'm just saying, like,
the money.
I don't want to make it so that, like, because you said, like, let's do it next week. I don't want to make it so that it's, again, I don't want to reveal a lot of my cards for when it is a serious attempt, right?
We can hammer out the kinks and figure out, like, the best way to play the game.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll just do it again without any of the surprises. You guys just have to try to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think like we need to re-clear raid like every week. We're still doing that like on Tuesday. And it's so boring and it sucks. So I think adding some sort of game element is fun.
I do think we probably need to do like an M+ event or something like that again.
Yeah,
because I missed those.
We will definitely do that. And actually, I was talking to, because we were on the tournament realm for MDI. There's a Blizzard admin, whatever they are. And apparently we can submit a form that says, like, hey, we want tournament realm access for this event, and here's like all the things that's going on in the event. I'm worried they won't give it to us unless we have a ton of people, but he was like, dude, just if you make a good form and it's worth it, we'll do it. So what I was thinking is, this is something we'll do in the future, of course, but like when we do our 24-hour stream, maybe we make a really big charity event out of that. And then you're right, like, I think the problem is, and resilient keys do help with this a lot, to fix this problem, because we had this problem when we used to do them. But I do think we need to come up, or at least take a game we've done before and redo it. Honestly, the most fun I have whenever we do these events, though, is when we did like the dragon riding / scavenger hunt one. That one's really fun.
I liked it, but that takes a lot of like back end. I mean, I know you're doing all of it.
I was gonna say, you
but
didn't do shit.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's sustainable. Whereas I feel like the original MDL games, like the very original ones, were like, I have a dark flame key, you have a dark flame key. Let's get 2 groups together and see who times it faster. And I think, like, honestly, that is, then we started adding Connect 4 and Battleship and all this shit. But like, I think that core of just like, I have this key, you have this key, I'm gonna do it faster than you. Let's go head to head right now and see who finishes first is fun, and it doesn't take a lot of back end work. The only thing that we've had trouble with is lining up getting the players
Yeah,
together.
that's the part I was gonna
and
say, because it's not
lining up the
unique.
keys.
It's hard to get the people to sign up for that, especially this late into a season.
But we had girls versus boys. We had
America
Canada
versus
versus
Canada.
USA.
Frank versus Garen.
Yeah, Frank versus Garen.
But then
Like,
we started
we
doing
had-
the Connect Four and the Battleship. And, like, those were around the world, so they didn't have to
Oh,
be.
dude. It was so
you didn't have to have
good.
the keys. The blind tank challenge. You know,
Yeah.
no
Oh,
UI
God, that was terrible.
challenge. That was fun too,
Well,
where we had no UI.
I will
Like-
commit to trying to do something like that really soon because I do think they're fun and I love streaming them. They're always fun that way.
Well, I also think a lot of the people, like, there's only a handful of people who were around when we were doing those games. Like, Io's never done one of those games before. Like, Bach and Donkin, all these people who've come in from the podcast and stuff like that, they've never done anything like that. We have people who are exuberant, who aren't like old and decrepit like Lithian and me, who are like, we're like disenchanted and whatever. We've done it before. Like fresh-eyed, Bach. He's like, oh, that sounds really fun, I bet, is what he would say. Like,
Okay.
I don't know why I single out Bach, but
All right. Well, we have just hit the 2-hour mark, so let's call it there, right? Any
short
last words?
episode.
Any last words from y'all? Well, Scrap, in fairness, you made me so wound up about the resilient take you had. I'm not saying
I'm so wound up about it.
I'm not saying you're not like entitled to your opinion. I'm just saying the examples and the arguments you were making were just so flawed.
I'm just curious where it falls because, like, we started discussion talking about how people don't like the resilient. I'm like, that must not be like a very big population. But I feel like probably most people would be where I am, where I think like it's good now, let's not push it. Like,
Well, okay.
But I might be
Last words,
wrong. I
Lithian.
might be wrong.
Last words, Lithian.
Last word is don't be like those toxic people we've been talking about all day today.
Yeah, just
There you
cut
go.
that shit out. All right, Scrap Claw,
Cut
last
it
word.
out.
My last words is don't get caught up in the points because that's what makes the game not fun. Like you can have an enjoyable time in a dungeon that you don't time or that you've already got the points from. Like
I just played the game.
The second you do the 13 Cinder Brew and you get points off of it, that doesn't mean I'm never going to do a 13 Cinder Brew ever again. And that
I've
shouldn't be
heard
your
you say
attitude.
that multiple times.
I say it again because
I'm
it's
never
important.
doing that key again, is what you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I do the key again, Frank. That's the thing. I'm pretty sure when I did like a
Never
fucking
say
10
I'm not gonna do it. I say it all the time, but I'm not meaning it.
No, I feel like when I got the 10 Priory done, I was like, I'm never doing Priory ever again. But obviously that was facetious. But
Oh, Lord. Last
gotta
words.
put down.
Player housing is looking really cool. Can't wait to see more.
Dude. It's been what? We're kind of doing on and off weeks for
Oh,
podcasts.
Frank, last words.
I'm literally going through them right now. Thanks for interrupting me.
Oh,
He's got
okay,
a
good.
lot of them. He's got a lot of last words. Letty needs to go to
We've
bed.
been going on and off again for podcasts because again, we'll come back if there's a lot of news or whatever's going on. Plus, we've had things going on with our own personal lives, like Lithian going to Chicago and
The summer's gonna be
going
hard for
quiet
me too.
for
You're gonna
like
have
3 weeks.
to
You know?
pull in somebody else.
No. Well, I was gonna say like we'll be here when we need to be here. But until our next episode, which will probably be 2 weeks from now, I can't wait to see the new Mission Impossible movie. I'm so fucking excited.
Oh yeah, dude.
That is
I'm
so
so
far off
fucking
my radar.
I know it is because all you care about
No
is
interest in
Minecraft
that.
and Sinners.
Yeah,
Chicken
Minecraft and
Jockey?
Sinners were both they were both great. One was a good movie and one was a bad movie, but I enjoyed them both immensely.
Do you
so.
think
which
a
was
big
which?
topic of conversation that
You
happens
guessed.
within the movie world
Last
is that
words,
like
Frank.
no, I know, but the big topic of conversation is that like Hollywood's dying and that like the summer blockbusters aren't there anymore. But I feel like
Yeah.
this summer things are going well so far. Like a good Marvel movie, Sinners was out, which was a big deal. We had Minecraft.
Did you like
obviously
the Marvel movie? Did you watch it?
I did. I liked it a lot. Now, granted, I feel like if they revealed way too much in the trailer that you kind of could piece things together.
Oh, I didn't see it. I only saw the YouTube trailer, which doesn't tell you anything. So.
Well, the long and short of it, there was a moment.
the long and short of it, Lithian.
The long and short of it, there was a moment in the movie at the end where someone, I'm going to put in quotes, dies, right? And I genuinely gasped. I went, oh, like it was insane the way that they framed it. Now, granted, they kind of walked it back, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
Well, spoilers for
Well,
Marvel
that's all I'm going
movie.
to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's say you said enough. The second
No,
someone dies, they'll be
it's
like,
not,
damn it,
it's
no,
no,
Frank
it's not
isn't
who you
coming
think it
back.
is. It's not going to be who you think it is. Like,
Okay.
anyways, yeah, I'm super excited about Mission Impossible, so I'm looking forward to that. And it sounds like Lithian's going to be going to.
Is it still Tom Cruise in Mission
couple-
Impossible?
He's 62 years old.
Yeah,
a
he's
couple
old
years
as
ago,
fuck, dude. The mission's getting impossible.
What Top Gun was like the movie of the summer too. I think people want the blockbusters.
Well,
they just gotta make them
Top
good.
Gun, Top Gun was the movie that
Cruise.
told
Tom Cruise.
Hollywood that COVID was going to be okay, right? Problem was, no one was making any good movies either, so that was a big problem.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the biggest problem is the movies
Yes.
aren't good.
Yeah,
So, think of the last couple Disney movies that have come out. Like they've all sucked ass. So
Snow White.
Snow White, like
didn't like Snow White.
Moana 2. I didn't see Moana 2,
I
so
didn't
maybe it
watch
was
it.
good. But
Moana
like
2 was
Wish
great.
and okay, whatever. But
Oh.
like their blockbuster of
By
the
the way,
year was
Moana 2 made like so much goddamn money that it's like
I know Lion King, Mufasa. That movie's dog shit. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
that
it
also
made a
made
ton
an
of money.
insane amount of
It
money.
made it-
yeah,
yeah.
you know that's the thing. That's the problem is that they're only gonna make a ton of money from that. Like, you know, people are gonna like learn that.
I didn't
that
like the Mufasa
shitty.
movie. I just didn't see any point to it, but whatever.
No, it's
All
just to make money. They're tent poles. You know, they gotta have their tent poles, right? But
Well,
Mhm, they
what about
sure
Wicked,
do.
Scrap? Wicked was big.
I love Wicked. Wicked's not a Disney movie, bro.
No, I'm not. Disney
was
isn't
like-
Hollywood. Like, it's not exclusive to just Disney.
No, but I'm just saying like the big studios are okay shoveling out shit and getting the
and
biggest
yet you just
paycheck
listed
ever for
Moana
it.
2, which
Hold
is
on,
not shit.
and getting well, I'm just saying, did it warrant the paycheck they got from it?
Yes, absolutely.
Sure. Not the
Probably in low
soundtrack for
capacity.
sure,
My-
though.
No, actually, so I will say that I didn't like the soundtrack at first, but it's grown on me immensely.
Okay.
Anyways, okay.
All
We
right.
love everyone. Episode 48. We're done. We'll see y'all maybe next week if there's a lot of news. Otherwise, you can expect us in 2 weeks. See ya.
2 weeks. See ya. Bye.
Peace.
Later.